is a special presentation of ESPN on ABC. Welcome to ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Remington.
In Kansas City, we're ready for Arrowhead Armageddon. Missouri quarterback Chase Daniel, his Kansas counterpart Todd Reese.
Showtime, baby.
The game of the year is here. The roots of this rivalry date back to the 1850s, when the Kansas-Missouri border divided north from south. Time has healed that division, but the feelings still run deep. And what was a border war is now a football feud. Now they settle their differences on the gridiron. And never was there more at stake than in their meeting tonight. Take a good look at these teams. A surprise to some, but not to themselves. Never doubting this was their destiny, to be ranked so high this late in November with so much on the line. Like a trip to the Big 12 title game and maybe the BCS championship down the road. Respect? They both have it, but that isn't their goal. It's to turn the numbers 2 and 4 before their names into a resounding number 1. Kansas and Missouri in prime time on Saturday Night Football. This border showdown is ready to erupt. It's Kansas against Missouri, and the stakes are enormous. The winner will capture the Big 12 North, advance to San Antonio for the championship game next week, and probably be number 1 in the BCS standings tomorrow. We welcome you to Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines. Let the top 5 in the BCS standings sink in. Already number 1 has lost. There's Kansas, West Virginia, big winner today, and there is Missouri. We welcome you to what certainly could be the game of the year. With Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brent Musburger. Folks, let this sink in. If either Kansas or Missouri wins their next 2 games, they will play for the national championship.
Let's let that sink in for the fans, because it's amazing to think in a year we've had so many upsets in college football, how fitting to have Kansas and Missouri controlling their own destiny, not only for a conference title, but to get to the national title. It's an amazing year.
And Kirk, we've got a great showdown between 2 fine young quarterbacks, Chase Daniel and Todd Reese.
Well, Brent, as you know, both these quarterbacks come into this game playing as well as any quarterbacks in the country, and the thing they have in common, a great deal of confidence in the system and the players around them. I want to see which defense is up to the task of trying to slow down one of those guys or both of those guys. I think we're going to see some points.
80,000 fans on hand here tonight. And when it's over, one of these 2 schools will be ready to erupt and celebrate.
Against the best. Now you're being put to the test. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Now you're on your own. We gon' see who regulates and who gets to celebrate.
I just wanna celebrate. I wanna celebrate. I just wanna celebrate.
You're watching ESPN on ABC.
This is ESPN on ABC, Saturday Night Football. That's right. Number 4 Missouri, number 2 Kansas. Who would have thought at the beginning of this year those numbers would be standing? John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie. Certainly none of the 3 of us up here, and if you say you were, you're lying. We know that. Tennessee facing Kentucky this afternoon. Tennessee trying to get the victory and try to get into the SEC championship game against LSU. 4th overtime, 2-point conversion. They needed to tie the game. Andre Woodson gets tackled.
Yeah, get rid of the football. Do something Kaufman with it. Don't get tackled. Valiant effort by Kentucky today and Andre Woodson, but Tennessee, congratulations. They'll represent the SEC Eastern Division.
Big East title up for grabs, and guess who grabbed it? Pat White, 24 yards here.
It really doesn't matter who's running with the football for West Virginia. All of them are running wild today. Pat White, 186 yards was a season high for him. Even the guys that were backups were coming in and running off 40, 50-yard runs.
So West Virginia and Ohio State now are both teams who have BCS berths nailed down. The winner of tonight's game between Missouri and Kansas is going to have a chance to play for one. Imagine you have to win this game, then you have to win the Big 12 championship.
A shot at it, you know, and that's what you're trying to do, is just play one game at a time. But this is really a team, I believe, that you're going to find out in Kansas that the discipline that they have on defense is going to come into play for them against Chase Daniel. Missouri's offense is good, make no mistake about it. They're really good. But when I visit with Mark Mangino, he really thinks that his team on defense plays unselfish, disciplined, fast to the football, and we're going to have that tonight.
I agree. I think that's where they have the edge. And obviously the talk tonight is about the quarterback position. Both Chase Daniel, Todd Reesing, phenomenal quarterbacks, undersized guys, under-recruited guys. Reesing hasn't thrown an interception in 6 weeks. Daniel's thrown one in the last 3 weeks. Between them, 25 touchdowns, 1 interception. They let it rip. They're small guys. Cold weather might bother them a little bit gripping the football.
All right, we, of course, will see at halftime right now. Time to join the game day crew to Chris and Lee.
John, nice chilly night, full moon overhead, electric inside, feels about like 50-50, Lee. If you judge these teams on the hoof, Missouri looks to be the more impressive. That hasn't bothered Kansas all season long. Compare the scores against the 5 common opponents. Missouri, a more dominant team. They beat all of them by at least 2 touchdowns. Kansas has played some close games. Missouri, your pick today.
Yeah, but Missouri's my pick because I saw them lose to Oklahoma, but I was impressed with their offense. This Chase Daniel, the quarterback, tight spiral. He's got 2 tight ends, 82 Marlon Rucker and 49 Chase Kaufman, 6'6", 250. They run like wide receivers. Then Jeremy Macklin on the outside, number 9. I don't think Kansas can stop him.
Which defense can get a service break? How will either team respond if they fall behind? Kansas hasn't been behind in the game for more than a few minutes, and Missouri's been playing with the lead either. So which team can handle the pressure and win the biggest game of their lives? Kansas about to take the field here. We were told to expect a lot more Jayhawk fans, and it's their chance to make noise. Kansas and Missouri for the Big 12 North. For the #1 ranking in the BCS. For bragging rights, a lot on the line. Kickoff coming up when you come back to Kansas City.
This telecast available on ABC HD, presented by DLP HT DV. It's cold whether it's in high definition or not. We're down into the 30s right now here in Kansas City. Snow flurries earlier today, but it stopped around noontime, and we're not expecting any more. Here's your timeline presented by Sports Authority. How big's this rivalry? 116th meeting, the second longest, and they cannot agree on the series record. We'll cover that story tonight. And the first meeting ever with both in the top 10, and both are in the top 5 here tonight. So Gary Pinkel won the toss and elected to take the football immediately. He wants to see if his sensational freshman, number 9, Jeremy Macklin, can get his hands on the ball. He wants to see right away what that man, Mark Mangino, his counterpart across the way, is going to do, what they're going to do with Macklin. Will they attempt to kick it over his head, sail it in, kick it high and short? Scott Webb. Ball will be put on the tee. The referee tonight is a good one. John Bible's Big 12 crew. One of the most electrifying freshmen in the country stands back on the goal line. Game on. From the 2. Macklin looks left out. He got one in the middle. 35, stumbles following his own blocker, and he's down at about the 37-yard line behind Earl Goldsmith. And so here comes young Mr. Chase Daniel, the junior from South Lake, Texas, Kurt.
Well, he's one of the more accurate quarterbacks in the country, Brent. Close to 70% of his passes. He engineers an offense that I think is the most explosive offense right now coming into this football game because of the amount of weapons he has on the outside. And this young man is playing with a ton of confidence coming into this game against Kansas.
It's a no-huddle spread. 5 wide to start the game. Daniel from the gun. Ran this offense in high school. Incomplete. And it'll be 2nd down and 10. So Kirk talked about Chase Daniels. We take a look at the starting lineups presented by Dell. We have mentioned Jeremy Maclin. You will see him as a running back and a wide receiver. Martin Rucker, one of their 2 very talented tight ends. Then in that offensive line, Kirk, the man in the middle, Adam Spiker, a 3-year starter.
They're playing well. They understand what their assignment is. And as a unit, they're playing very, very well right now, Brent.
4 receivers on the right side. Daniel drops it off down below to Maclin, handling as a receiver for the first time. And this is going to be 3rd and long is Talib. Aqib Talib, the best corner for the Jayhawks, makes the stop.
Bill Young has his defense coming out playing with a lot of energy. I saw him on the field before the game, and he said, I don't even know why we're showing up tonight. All this talk about Missouri's offense, and he's been giving his team that message. Kind of poor-mouthing them to try to get them fired up to try to take down Chase Daniel and this Tigers offense.
3rd and 8. 5 receivers out for Daniel. Jayhawks show blitz, trying to get to him, trying to rush him. He's got time. Goes deep but high, incomplete, and it's 3 and out for Mizzou. 3 and out, and they came with the blitz early.
Well, this is something you'll see throughout tonight from both teams, is mixing up the looks. The first couple snaps from Kansas, a conservative look. This time the blitz from Joe Mortensen, the outside linebacker, who just about gets to Daniel. But for these quarterbacks, you have to disrupt their timing in rhythm with their receivers.
Adam cross it back, and back is Anthony Webb to return the punt for the Jayhawks. Under a little bit of pressure that time. Fielded at the 29-yard line and breaks the first tackle, but not the second, and down at the 15-yard line. Jake Sharp, a terror on the special teams, getting down the field, and so too was Brock Christopher. So now, Kirk, we will take our first look at young Todd Reesing here.
Brent, you and I saw him just a few weeks ago in Stillwater against Oklahoma State. Everybody talks about how he's undersized, 5'10" or 5'11". Young man has not thrown an interception in 6 games. It gives you an idea how much rhythm that he has in this Kansas offense and the way they're playing.
He checks over at the sideline. They too go without a huddle. Trying to pass along the signal. This is one of the noisiest NFL venues in the country. Option play. McAnderson takes the pitch. Nothing doing. And our Dell Computer Kansas offense, Kirk mentioned. Young Reesing and Brandon McAnderson touches the ball, but keep an eye on number 86, Marcus Henry, exploded in Stillwater the night we had him. Anthony Collinskirk is back at left tackle tonight.
He's the leader up front. He missed the Iowa State game a week ago. I think more than anything, just trying to rest him to get ready for Missouri. He's the leader. He'll have to play well at left tackle. You'll see this a lot from Kansas, looking over to get the call.
First pass is juggled, incomplete. The linesman right there. Dexton Fields was the intended receiver. He's the junior from Dallas.
You got to remember, these teams are in uncharted waters as far as the excitement and the build-up of this game. And anytime you have so much pressure on these teams, it's not shocking to see a little bit of nerves. They need to work that out here in these first couple of series. Let's see how Kansas does now on 3rd down.
3 receivers and a tight end on the left side next to the tackle. Reesing throws back in underneath to Dexton Fields, and he's short of the first down. So here comes the punt team, and it's 3 and out for the Jayhawks.
Again, nice to see these defenses. They've heard all week about the 2 quarterbacks, and this time in the first series for both defenses, they step up and force the 3 and out.
So here comes young Maclin. He's caught a pass, and he's returned the kickoff. We'll see what Kyle Tucker can come up with. Field position going to be huge in this game. Maclin signals fair catch at the 37-yard line. Underway in Kansas City, a neutral site, a Kansas home game for the championship, Big 12 North. The border war, Missouri and Kansas. Lawrence, of course, the closest to Kansas City. And as a result, Mark Mangino took his team back to Lawrence after the walkthrough yesterday. And then today they drove the 50 miles. There was one problem, an enormous traffic jam outside of Arrowhead. The team was 20 minutes late in arriving here at the stadium.
You got caught up in that, didn't you?
Yeah, sure. First down and 10. So did Carl Peterson, the general manager of the Chiefs. And a handoff on the first down to the running back, Tony Temple. Temple picks up about 5 yards in our Kansas defense here tonight. And in that front, James McClinton is a candidate for all Big 12 honors. And the linebacker, Joe Mortensen and Mike Rivera have been standouts. In the secondary, we've already talked about Aqib Talib. He is the junior. He's the shutdown. He'll be keeping an eye out for number 9. He now goes in motion into the backfield off a fake. Daniel going to throw to him on that far side. Kansas ready for the play. James Holt read the play beautifully on that far side and made the stop.
Well, this Kansas defense is well schooled. They always seem to be in the right place, the right time, and that could be beneficial tonight. As much as Missouri likes to use Macklin sometimes as a decoy, this time the fake on the reverse, they come back and throw it, and there is James Holt, number 2 on his team in tackles, right where he needs to be.
So far, the Jayhawk defense, coordinated by veteran Bill Young, doing an outstanding job, keeping Mizzou in 3rd and long in the first 2 series. Daniel couldn't find an open man, and they're forced to punt again. He was forced to take off as the secondary had covered the receivers, Kurt.
Well, that was great coverage, as you indicated, Brent, downfield. And I think right now, a bit of confusion with Chase Daniel and his receivers and tight ends and trying to get in sync, and credit Kansas in confusing them and mixing up their looks right now. They brought pressure on 3rd down. Other times they're dropping 7 or 8 into coverage.
Crossett's had 2 punts blocked this season, and his net is 39.4. It has dropped off. There was a little bit of pressure on his first punt. This one they kept pretty clean. Fair catch back at the 22-yard line. And let us check in with the 3rd member of our team, Lisa Salters. Lisa?
Well, Brent, I talked to both quarterbacks earlier in the week about playing in this cold, and Chase Daniel said that he went online to see what the weather was going to be, and when he saw it was going to be cold, he said it got me to thinking, and I have to say that I played some of my best games in cold weather. I said, in Texas? And he said, yeah, it gets pretty cold in Texas in November and December. Todd Reesing said, I'm not going to think about it. To me, it's going to be 80 degrees and sunny. But just because he's not thinking about it doesn't mean he didn't plan for it. Out here wearing gloves for the first time in his career. He practiced in them all week long.
He threw the ball pretty well in the pregame warm-ups with those gloves. And Chase not wearing. Here comes the blitz. Inside handoff, and the blitz was successful. William Moore coming up from that safety. When Pig Brown was injured and lost for the season, Moore had to pick it up, and he's had a huge year.
Well, William Moore in the nickel package with 5 defensive backs will come up, and the reason they've moved him in to where Pig Brown was is because of his versatility. He loves to blitz. He can cover. He also has the ability to get out and take away an opposing player out in the flat. He's a multiple talented player for this Missouri defense.
On 2nd and 11, fired complete to the 30-yard line, and now it's 3rd and very makeable on the Derek Fine reception against this Missouri defense. Lorenzo Williams, he along Ziggy Hood have done a fine job in the middle. Brock Christopher and Sean Witherspoon have been outstanding. And this is the group that will be under fire. We've talked about Moore.
I think Carl Geddes, watch him, number 19, the true freshman from Missouri. Probably the most talented player, but he is a true freshman. I think Kansas will come after him from time to time.
There's the late signal from the Kansas sideline, and Reesing passed it along. Incomplete as the pocket was collapsing. Lorenzo Williams and the big fellas in the middle were applying some heat.
For the first times, I think, all year, I've seen some frustration out of Todd Reesing. He looks downfield. He thinks he has an open man, but again, very good coverage, and there's something we have not seen from number 5 very much at all this year.
'Macklin back. to the 25-yard line, gets to the sideline, looks for an alley, and he is stopped by Kyle Tucker, the punter. Kyle Tucker prevented a touchdown on the Macklin return. Mr. Excitement was loose again on the near sideline.
Brent, you've been waiting for this opportunity to see, and we all have coming into this game because of what he can do. And I'll tell you what, Tucker makes a heck of a play to fight off a block and prevent a big touchdown here for Missouri early in this game. He had to fight off Alexander's block downfield and eventually pushed him out of bounds.
Late substitution. Greg Bracey dashes on the field. Now 11 for the offense. Great field position after that 43-yard return. Firing complete. Tommy Saunders, and it's another first down as he brings Mike Rivera with him out of bounds, and Mizzou is alive and well.
One of the adjustments right now that Kansas has got to be able to deal with is 5 wide receivers and a quick pass from Chase Daniel. Kansas is spending a lot of their energy in the middle of the field where the tight ends are, which means the outside receivers, in this case Tommy Saunders, have to step up and make the plays.
Jimmy Jackson checks in as the running back. Alongside Chase Daniel. Now here comes Macklin around, and he's got it this time. But Rivera does not let go at the 15-yard line, and we send you off to New York.
Hi there, Matt Weiner here in New York. I'll let you know what's happening around the country throughout the game. In this Taco Bell update, Tim Tebow with his last chance to impress Heisman voters, and boy, is he impressive. A new single-season total offense record for Florida. 5 touchdowns tonight as the Gators are rolling it up on Florida State. Auburn leads early in the Iron Bowl, 7-0 on a Lynn Tate touchdown run.
And here we are scoreless. 8 minutes to go in the opening quarter. 2nd down and 5 after a splendid punt return. And Macklin, he's been all over the field so far. And John Larson, one of the fine defensive ends for the Jayhawks, makes that stop.
Macklin, of course, last week, 360 yards of all-purpose yards. He's had just an amazing year as a redshirt freshman.
And Chase Daniel disgusted as he walks away.
Personal foul, number 2 on the offense. That's a 15-yard penalty. The down counts.
So Franklin, downfield, incurs a very costly penalty. Both of these teams have been able to avoid a lot of penalty trouble, although we note that Kansas a week ago against Iowa State had 9. Let's take a look at this.
Well, the emotions of a rivalry game, and Talib is not going to be quiet. He gives him a little shot.
It's a second man.
Yeah.
Second man.
Oh, there's a little push there at the end as well, coming in from Franklin.
So it's 3rd and a bunch. Play fake. Daniel moves the pocket back. Still looking for a receiver. Looking downfield, has to drop it off well short of the first down. And a splendid tackle that time by Sadiq Muhammad. So Muhammad yanks down Denario Alexander on the play.
Outstanding coverage again, this time by Aqib Talib. He took away William Franklin. The reason that you looked and saw Chase Daniel, he wanted to come to the backside, but outstanding coverage by Talib. He didn't have anybody to go to.
A fake off the Jeff Wolford field goal, but they are short of the first down. The fake fails. Kansas football. Tommy Saunders threw it to Franklin.
This is not only a fake, Brent, but I think with Franklin, he acted as if he checked out of the game and stayed on the field, just trying to blend into the sideline. The design worked very well, but give Kansas credit for getting over into position to keep Franklin short of the first down.
Reesing standing at the 9. Now he'll check over to the sideline. The coaches have checked the defensive personnel. They'll hand signal into Reesing. He'll walk up behind the center, relay the play along the line. The flanker screen, and it's good for 9 yards to Fields.
Go back to that fake field goal. See Franklin just maybe 6 inches on the field trying to blend in with the rest of his teammates, but Kansas ready for it. Coming over there, Chris Harris, the cornerback, as a freshman, makes a great play.
And I'll tell you, that would have been a 39-yard field goal well within Wolfert's range. And the inside handoff to Jake Sharp, who is now the running back, trying to pick up the first down. And they may have been just a touch short there, Kurt.
What I'm seeing here in these first few series is something that Kansas has not seen for a long time. Missouri has decided to be the aggressor. Instead of sitting back and waiting for Todd Reesing to establish himself and dictate the tempo, they're attacking downhill.
Quick snap from under center. McAnderson rumbles for the first down. Powerful fella out to the 36-yard line. And he's brought down by Bridges.
Kansas has done this. This time they go with a quick count. First time tonight. Catches Missouri off guard a bit. And I'm going to tell you, if you haven't seen Brandon McAnderson run the football tonight, the senior is a load, and he's got great quickness.
A little bit of sugar. Here comes McAnderson. Breaks the first tackle. Ziggy Hood lost a handful on that play, and finally he is run out of bounds, but he did pick up about 3 yards.
Go back to that point about how Missouri is attacking downhill and coming after Kansas. I think Kansas is reacting by going with the quick toss to get McAnderson to the outside. I think they've got to go downfield to try to stretch this Missouri defense.
Missouri shows linebacker blitz. They hand off to the middle, but this will bring up a third down, and the Jayhawks are going to need about 5 yards after the tackle by Shulock.
Ed Warner, the offensive coordinator from Kansas, coming over from Illinois. He did a great look at him right there. He's done just an amazing job of putting this offense together. Feels confident. We'll see what kind of adjustments he makes against this attacking Missouri defense. He's calling the plays right now from upstairs and communicating them down.
Missouri showing pressure. Reese's got a man open. Incomplete. He got turned around on the play. William Moore lost contact with Fields that time, and a big one was there for the taking, Kirk.
Missouri continues with this theme early in the game, attacking third down. They blitz, they take a chance and play man-to-man. William Moore, the safety, locked up one-on-one with Dexton Fields, and Fields just couldn't make the adjustment to haul in the pass.
It's Tucker versus Macklin again. He booms this one, a fair catch signal at the 22-yard line. Tense game for the Big 12 North Championship between ancient rivals, Kansas and Missouri.
For today's City Coaching Moment, we look back to 2005 when Pete Carroll and undefeated USC faced Oklahoma in the national championship. After an early lead by Oklahoma, the Trojans, led by Reggie Bush and Matt Leinart, scored 55 points in a dominating performance. The win completed a 13-0 season, the best in USC history. The Trojans were the second team ever to be ranked #1 wire-to-wire, cementing Carroll's legendary status. Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Visit southwest.com. The Ford Edge, spirit of a sports car, versatility of an SUV. Verizon Wireless. And Allstate, proud sponsors of college football. Are you in good hands?
And as soon as ABC and ESPN finish here tonight, CBS moves center stage. They have to get ready for tomorrow's noon kickoff Central Time, the Chiefs and the Oakland Raiders. So there'll be a quick turnaround. This crew will work through the night here. Now Chase Daniel taking over, and
4 receivers to the top. Confusion.
Timeout was called, I believe, and the timeout, Tony Temple was waving his hands, and he called timeout. Kirk, I want to go back to something. I just checked about Gary Pinkel. I want to ask you, I just checked with George Hill, a stats man. I was pretty sure it was 4th and more than 10 on that fake field goal. It surprises me in a game of this magnitude and this intense that a coach with a very good field goal kicker, now make no mistake about that, that man has not missed this year in Big 12 play, wouldn't go for a 39-yard. Were you, or what do you think?
I was with you. I was surprised. Just it's early in the game, rivalry game, so much at stake. You'd think he's maybe going to take the points there because he has a kicker more than capable of being able to make that kick. But if you look at Gary Pinkel, he's a bit of a risk taker. I mean, part of getting to this game and being in this position, he's willing to take some chances. So it's within his character to take that risk. But we'll find out if this ends up backfiring. They did get the football back to Chase Daniel.
A good point on that. If that's his MO, why not? First down and 10 with 4:28 to go here. Daniel backed up. Here comes Temple, the running back, through the middle. Big hole, gashes for a first down.
This is what you have to be aware of with Missouri. They get in 4 and 5 receiver sets, but they can also get physical and run the football. Curtis Gregory, Colin Brown lead Tony Temple right up into the middle, and they have no problem creasing a defense if you spend too much time worrying about Chase Daniel throwing the football.
All on the 34-yard line for Daniel and the Tigers. And blocking assignments broke down completely on that play as James Holt, the linebacker, shot the gap, and number 12 almost beat the football there.
Brad, you're all over it here. James Holt, aggressive Kansas defense right in the middle. He's going to come right through the center, and the right guard, a little bit of a mistake this time by Gregory. Gregory, the right guard, turned to his right, and it allowed Holt to shoot right through that gap between the guard and the center, right in the middle of that defense.
Well scouted on that zone blocking scheme. His speaker never saw him as he zipped through either, did he? Second down now, and Daniel has much better protection this time and fires for the first down. Alexander.
This is more like Chase Daniel getting into rhythm. The game's now, he's probably starting to settle down. A lot of attention being paid to Macklin as he comes in motion and he goes behind Chase Daniel, and it opens it up very nicely right in the middle of that defense to a very talented receiver in Alexander.
Ready to go from near midfield. Temple again, and Temple gashes again. Run out of bounds on that far sideline, but not until he crosses the 30-yard line for a 22-yard gain.
Well, when Tony Temple is in this game, he's not only physical, he has patience like all great backs have. And this is a good job by the offensive line of getting the Kansas defense on their heels and pushing them to the sideline. And it opened it up for Tony Temple to shoot through there. And all of a sudden, Missouri's offense starting to create that momentum.
Look at the bunch there at the bottom of your screen. Look at the 4 diamond. But he fires back where he's got one man out on the left side, and that's Bill Franklin as we send you quickly to Matt in New York.
The winner of this game gets Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship next Saturday night at 8 Eastern. Oklahoma quarterback Sam Bradford's our nominee for the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week after 4 touchdowns and a new bowl subdivision record for touchdown passes by a freshman. Text vote to 87654 on your AT&T wireless phone to cast your vote.
Jackson checks back into the Missouri backfield. Here's a double reverse. Alexander coming around. First down. It looked ugly for a couple of seconds, but he made the most of it before Rivera was able to attack Denario Alexander.
Macklin again comes in motion. You're seeing a lot of this. He picks the football up. Almost a great play that time by the linebacker Holt, who's got in there, but it's just Alexander. It's well defended by Kansas, but Alexander's athletic ability allowed him to snake through the defense to pick up a first.
Daniel comes back to the right side. Saunders, short of the goal line, put it on the ground. Ball was down. And they signal right away that Missouri recovered. And they'll have a first and goal.
So many weapons for Missouri. And what we're seeing is Macklin is definitely being used in a variety of ways. Saunders comes through, makes a play, is down, and then the football comes out. And regardless, Missouri recovered the fumble anyway.
Daniel signals to his wide receivers out wide. Brings Franklin in closer on the right side. Goldsmith is the running back. Goldsmith is stopped. Thrown for a loss on the play. A little pushing and shoving. Larson and McClinton in on the stop for the Jayhawks.
Jeremy Maclin is being used, Brent, and we knew coming in he'd return punts, return kickoffs. But he has been all over this field tonight, not only when he has his hands on the ball, but a lot of times they're using him as a decoy to open up other outlets on their offense.
Temple checks back into the game. He is split out as a receiver to the right side. 5 receivers now for Chase Daniel. Got a man open, incomplete. Wanted Maclin in the back of the end zone. Maclin shaken up just a little bit on that play. Reaching down. He may have to come out here for a play. Thornton, the defender.
Horton's there. It's a timing pass between the quarterback, Daniel, and his favorite target, Jeremy Maclin. Thornton was there, but at the time he turned, the ball was past him.
Maclin will have to come off now. The freshman sensation, Jeremy Maclin from Kirkwood, Missouri. He's a redshirt freshman. In case you have not heard his story, folks, blazing speed, blew out a knee prior to last year, which would have been his true freshman year. Comes back this year, and he's had a sensational campaign. Broke the all-purpose record for freshmen.
Brett, remember the tight ends and the size advantage at 6'6" against this Kansas defense.
Daniel looking for one right now. Gonna have to drop it in underneath to Temple. The running back goes for the end zone, reaches for it, and down at the 1. The field judge right there says he's down at the 1. Talib making the stop.
Great coverage here by Kansas, but how about the poise by Chase Daniel? Buying time, and then eventually he finds Temple, and there's the tough physical running again from Tony Temple. He almost gets it into the end zone.
Saunders made a key block on that play. So here's a 4th and goal coming up. No hesitation, Mizzou going for it here on 4th and goal. Diving end zone, touchdown Missouri. Martin Rucker, number 82, scores the evening's first touchdown. Jeff Wolpert tacks on the extra point. 82 consecutive combined kicks now for Wolford. A touchdown on 4th and goal. Chase Daniel, reason to celebrate, young man. Missouri strikes first, and Kansas trails for just the 7th time this year. And the last 5 times, Kirk, that they've been behind, and we were there once, they've come back to score on the next possession each of the last 5 times. And you called it. They found one of the tight ends for a touchdown.
Yeah, they had Kaufman down to the right, and Rucker, who has just been a go-to receiver all year, leads the team with 70 receptions coming in, made a great play, and got into the end zone.
Now, there's a great return man on the Kansas side who will touch it for the first time, and that is Marcus Herford. Wolford with the ball on the tee. They're going to kick it short and high. They're going to pitch it to the 30-yard line. And Kansas will have it at about the 35, so they'll kick it away from Herford. Let's go back to the TD, Kirk.
Yeah, well-designed play this time by the offense from Missouri. Macklin goes here. Alexander goes here. And here, of course, is the tight end Rucker who comes underneath. What I want you to see, this is just a rub route with the receivers. They almost just set up a wall here and allows Rucker to come right in here and make the catch. Good concentration with the traffic and a nice touchdown for Missouri.
So far, folks, the story of this game, the domination by the Missouri defense. They've given up no points and only 42 yards to this high-flying Kansas offense. Advantage early to Mizzou's defense. They collapse the pocket. McAnderson, the running back, but that's only for about a yard. So again, Kirk, advantage Tiger D.
Well, right now we're seeing Missouri. They are not intimidated by Todd Reesing. They're coming into this game and they're saying the last time a defense pressured Kansas was Kansas State about 7 games ago. And Kansas State created turnovers against Reesing, and they came in tonight to go after Reesing and make him prove that he and his offense can make the plays.
Into the first quarter, and ESPN Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines, returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. Hunt's dream to bring these two schools together to play here in Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. 80,000 on hand. This is the first of a 2-year contract. Next year, it is a home game for Missouri. Each school tonight guaranteed $1 million by the Chiefs. 7-0. Missouri leads it as we start the second quarter. Young Reesing going deep downfield. Got it to the 25-yard line. He finds Kerry Meyer, last year's quarterback, and now a wide receiver for 40 yards.
This is exactly what Kansas needed to do to get Todd Reesing and his offense going. I continue to talk about Missouri attacking a blitz again. Safety comes down, Dell Howard, and replacing behind him is Kerry Meyer, who the former quarterback shows great hands. Nice throw that time by Reesing. We'll see if this gets him going into rhythm.
Play fake McAnderson, end zone, picked off, intercepted by Moore. His 7th interception of the season. The All-American safety does what he's been doing all year since the injury sustained by Pig Brown. He snuffs out a Kansas scoring drive.
Brent, William Moore proving week after week that he's a ball hawk. Missouri not slowing down. They're still coming after Todd Reesing despite the big play by Meyer, and for good reason. William Moore one-on-one coverage, steps underneath Dexton Fields and shows tremendous athletic ability to be able to make that catch. Well, with Pig Brown down, William Moore has become the MVP for the Tiger defense.
And his first interception in his last 213 attempts. And they're going to review this upstairs. Just take another look at it. John Bible talking to the technicians and the officials upstairs in the booth.
One thing they could be reviewing is the spot of the football. Did his momentum take him into the end zone, or did he purposely go into the end zone to try to get a touchback? He intercepted the ball at about the 1-yard line. And I think they have to be able to decide, did his momentum take him into the end zone for a touchback, or did he purposely go into the end zone? It's all about where he made the interception. And at that point, the officials upstairs trying to make a decision. To me, it looks like he made the catch. He was going to go into the end zone. He could not have prevented himself from going into the end zone. Therefore, that is the right call on the field. Missouri should have the ball.
Missouri did intercept the football, but they did so on the 2-yard line. Their momentum carried them into the end zone. Therefore, it will be Missouri's ball, 1st and 10 at the 2-yard line.
Wow.
So the ball will be brought back to the 2, and that's a big edge for the Manginos. There's a lot of difference in field position, Kirk. Whoa, 18 yards here.
And so far, the field position has favored Missouri in the first quarter.
Chase Daniel brings the offense out. Temple is the running back, number 22. Rucker, who scored the touchdown, is out on the field. Let's see if they show a more traditional formation than they do. Cut down the line splits, bring Temple up behind in a traditional I formation. Run behind the offensive line, and Temple gets to the left side. Picks up a big first down and gains a little field position in the process with that fine run.
Boy, Kansas, you have 9 defenders. 9 defenders up in this boxed area. You know Missouri's going to run the football. You got to expect that he's going to bounce that to the outside. A poor angle that time by the safety, Stuckey, allowed Missouri and Temple to get the ball to the outside, and all of a sudden they've got better field position.
Temple has rushed Kirk for 58 yards. And they bring his backup, Jimmy Jackson, in, and they are gashing this Kansas defense with the run here tonight. If it's not Temple, it is Jackson reeling off big yards.
The line right now for Missouri setting the tone. This time it's Madison, Llewellyn pulling around from the left side on a counter and opening it up for Jimmy Jackson. And Jackson, much like Temple, showing great patience before exploding through the hole. And just like that, Missouri's at the 36-yard line after 2 run plays.
Starting back on the 2-yard line. False start. You can see that line starting to pull back. Chase lobbying for the fact that they were in the neutral zone on the defensive side.
Before the snap, false start, 79 offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Llewellyn pulled out on that left side just a touch early.
It's the thing that is so amazing about Missouri is you kind of get caught up in Chase Daniel in the 5 wide receiver sets, and you don't realize that they average 172 yards a game running the football. It's a very balanced attack that you constantly have to be aware of.
Temple's in the game, and he goes over to the right side of Daniel. He gets the handoff, and he's found daylight over on that left side. Battling for 3 or 4 more yards before Stuckey's able to get him out of bounds.
And the reason this complements Chase Daniel like any quarterback so well, because right now the safety's Stuckey just had a great look at Justin Thornton. These safeties now are starting to come down and have to be in run support, and that's where Chase Daniel and Missouri will then try to take advantage of that and attack you down the middle of the field, throwing the football to his tight ends.
Second down and 11. 5 receivers. Here comes the blitz. Daniel fires quickly to the outside. Got the first down as he put it in Alexander's hands again. Alexander has been a factor here tonight to lead the defender.
Tenario Alexander a lot of times gets overlooked because of Jeremy Maclin and William Franklin. But if you spend too much time on the tight ends at Maclin and Franklin, this gives you an indication of the depth that Missouri has. And Alexander, a tremendous athlete at 6'5". They say he has a 46-inch vertical.
On first down, here comes Maclin on that end around. Picking up about 9 yards. I'll send you to New York and Matt Weiner. And here at 7-0, Missouri leading unbeaten Kansas. 12:54 first half, and complete for another first down, and that's their other very talented tight end, Chase Kaufman.
Their tight ends came into this game number 1 and number 3 as far as receptions on the season. And Rucker is 70 receptions coming in. He already scored a touchdown. Chase Kaufman, and both these guys are 6'6". What a mismatch against any defense that they ever would go up against.
Jackson continues as the running back. Here comes a blitz. They blitzed it perfectly. Down at the 45-yard line, James McClinton has had 11.5 tackles for a loss. Now, there are your 2 talented tight ends.
Yeah, Rucker and Kaufman both come into this game having not only brilliant seasons, they've had wonderful careers in Columbia. And the one thing that I've noticed is watching Kansas, they're aware of those tight ends, but they're being attacked in so many different areas, it's hard to lock in one spot to stop Missouri.
Here's your second down and 17. Flanker screen to Franklin, and he's down at the 40-yard line, not even back at the original line of scrimmage. And this will bring up about a 3rd and 12 here. And Larson, John Larson, makes the stop for the Jayhawks.
This gives you a chance, but it's not a guarantee against Chase Daniel. You get him to 3rd and 12, and all of a sudden, you have a couple choices. Bring the pressure or drop 7 or 8 back into coverage. Bill Young has shown most of this season on 3rd down to bring pressure with linebackers.
Derek Washington checks in for Mizzou. Macklin returns. Daniel looking downfield, throws to Franklin. Broken up. 4th down on a jarring hit in the secondary. Darrell Stuckey.
I think Chase Daniel was surprised because Franklin had Talib beaten to the middle of the field, but Stuckey waiting for him right there and lowers the boom on Jeremy Macklin.
However, the flag is for holding, and that's an automatic 1st down. So it would have brought up a 4th down, but defensive holding called on the play. And this will give the Tigers a 1st down at the 30-yard line. So all season, the Jayhawks, under Mangino, avoid the costly penalties. But here tonight, this one hurts. Here's a blitz again. Temple to the right side this time, and it'll be 2nd down and long. Bill Young's defense seems to be answering the call, and they'd be in good shape except for that holding, Kurt.
Yeah, the holding call really hurt them. The timing of it, Mark Mangino is going to just be going crazy right now, but it's kind of been a mixed bag on this drive alone for Kansas and their defense. Times they've been able to shoot through some gaps and slow down the running game, and other times they've been gashed, giving up some big plays.
2nd and 10 for Daniels. 1st down. And loose again is Alexander. To the 10-yard line. Alexander, 4 catches for 60 yards so far.
Martin Rucker's going to come from your right to your left. You see how number 8, Mortensen, goes with him? When Mortensen followed Rucker, it opened up a huge spot right behind where Mortensen was lined up, and an easy throw that time for Chase Daniel.
And it's 1st and goal for the Tigers, who lead it by 7. Daniel hands it off to Temple. He loses about a yard on the play, and James Holt, the linebacker, makes the stop. Remember, this drive started back at the Mizzou 2-yard line after the interception. Kansas threatening to score. They got the ball on the 2, and now they have driven down. It is 2nd and goal coming up for Daniel.
I think a matchup that Chase Daniel might look to at the bottom of the screen. He's got one of his favorite targets, William Franklin, lined up against true freshman Chris Harris.
Daniel on the move, has to throw it away. It's going to be 3rd down and goal.
The Missouri coaches will tell you that we welcome the blitz. I said, you get into a lot of empty. You've got 5 offensive linemen. If somebody brings 6, what do? They say, we welcome that. We want somebody to bring 6 because we've got a quarterback that makes such quick decisions that we're going to abuse them with that blitz and make them get out of it. That time, Kansas got there and forced Daniel to throw it away. Empty again.
3-man rush. Daniel still looking for somebody open. Retreats on the move, complete. Alexander scores. A play that took a half-dozen seconds to unfold, it seemed, and Chase Daniel strikes again. His 2nd touchdown pass of the night.
Well, Chase Daniel has tremendous mobility and presence in the pocket. He realizes there's only 3 defenders chasing him down. He's got the speed to get away from Larson, buys enough time, and I'll tell you, I know Kansas had 8 defenders in coverage, but it's tough that long to cover that many receivers, 5 receivers on the pattern, and Alexander works well that time with Chase Daniel.
Jeff Wolford makes it a 14-point lead for the underdog. So Alexander scores and Mizzou leads it. We are back. 9:21 to go in the first half. Unbeaten Kansas trails once beaten Missouri by 2 touchdowns, 14-0. And the last time that Missouri kicked off, as Alexander scored their second touchdown, but the last time they kicked off, they stayed away from Hereford. They kicked it high and short with a pooch kickoff, which would seem to be the strategy. Hereford is back on the 4-yard line, one of the nation's leading kickoff return men. And we'll see if Missouri continues to kick it short here. They do exactly that. Fielded at the 23-yard line. And that'll be where young Reesing after McAnderson field out. Let us go to New York, and here's Matt Weiner. Matt?
Brett, this Sports Center Minute is powered by Vizio. West Virginia ran all over Connecticut to win the Big East title today. Mountaineers racked up 517 yards on the ground in a 66-21 win. They're in great position for that BCS title game. And Virginia Tech beat Virginia to win the Commonwealth Cup. More importantly, the Coastal Division of the ACC. They'll take on BC in the ACC Championship.
And here, Reesing on first down, flips it out, and for a short gain is Dexton Fields. And we welcome the general manager of the Kansas City Chiefs, Carl Peterson. And Carl, you were telling me what a long dream this was of the late Lamar Hunt to bring this game here to Arrowhead. Tell us about that.
Well, for over 30 years, he wanted to host this great rivalry. When I came here 18 years ago, he said, "Do you think we can get it done?" We stayed with it and persevered, and this is what we see, which is couldn't have come better at a better time for both teams and for Kansas City.
Here's second down and 1 now for Reesing and the Jayhawks downfield. He's got his first down, Kirk, at the 35.
Well, you're kind of waiting for something to get Kansas going, to spark this team. Remember, they have not trailed much at all this whole season. We're really going to find out if Todd Reesing is the leader that we think he is. He gets pressure, he puts the ball up, and Briscoe, the young freshman, makes a nice catch for a big gain.
And that's his first catch of the night. 8:30 here in the half. McAnderson battling for a couple of yards. And Carl, this is going to be a tough turnaround for the Chiefs. You've got to kick it off tomorrow at noon.
Our stadium operations people have the work cut out for them. 7 o'clock kickoff here tonight and noon tomorrow for us. But hey, we're very, very happy to host this. This is tremendous for both universities, for both states, and for Kansas City itself. This is a great venue, as you can see here. We've got over 80,000 people here, Brent.
Second down, and Eggs flips it out to the side to Fields again. Fields is short of the first down.
I'm so impressed by this stadium and by the atmosphere inside it. I've heard from so many players in the NFL, they say this is the closest thing to a college football stadium. Talk about how beautiful this is for you guys.
Well, it begins again with Lamar Hunt and the architectural design, but the seats are closer to the stadium than probably any in the NFL. It's the loudest, we think, outdoor stadium in the NFL. And, of course, we're renovating this, but we are not going to fool with the integrity of the bowl. We don't want to take away these great sight lines and how close they are to the field. It's a tribute to him.
Third and 4 is incomplete, Carl. And there's a penalty flag. That's going to be an automatic first down.
They went after Geddes this time. They get him on a holding call that got the matchup that they wanted. Marcus Henry, one-on-one.
Holding, number 19 on the defense. It's on an eligible pass receiver. 10 yards, previous spot, first down.
He actually was holding him from the time he left the line of scrimmage with the right hand, just holding on all the way down. He got a hold of his hand warmer there and didn't let go. It's a good job by the officials all over that call.
Carl's never seen a guy in the NFL do that.
No. We try to do it very discreetly, but that's a good wide receiver, Marcus Henry, senior, coming out. We like him very much from Kansas. Both teams have definite NFL players, and again, it's such a great venue for them to play in and for these two fine football teams.
Carl, the trophy tonight, the Lamar Hunt Trophy, and the family, I understand, is here to present that.
Norma Hunt, Clark Hunt, all the Hunts, Daniel Hunt, Lamar Jr. this again was something that he wanted so dearly, and both schools felt it would be appropriate that the winner of this game, and we're going to host it again next year, will get the Lamar Hunt Memorial Trophy.
So here is 2nd down and 6. They check for that signal from the sideline. McAnderson picks up the blitz, deflected though, and incomplete. Carl, are there any other players who are seniors on these two teams? You mentioned the wide receiver. Who else should we be looking at from a pro standpoint?
From Missouri, obviously, Martin Rucker is a heck of a player. We don't need a tight end right now, but we will in the future. Tony Gonzalez is very good. The little running back, I really like him. Tony Temple, he's a Kansas City person and a fine player. That both teams, like I said, they're gonna have NFL players and continue to have that because of Mark Mangino and Gary Pinkel and the fine job they've done with both of their their schools and the support that they get.
Here's your 3rd down and 6. Fire incomplete, and it brings up a 4th down. And Mangino deciding whether to get a field goal. He sends that unit out onto the field here to get something up on the board.
Got to come up with some points.
Yep.
3rd down. We just haven't seen Kansas make these kind of mistakes, but they definitely need to get the points.
What's amazing is 2 great offensive scoring teams.
Yeah.
And it's only been 2 touchdowns tonight. But that's usually how it is.
Scott Webb to attempt a 33-yarder. Off to the right. Off the upright and no good. So far, Gary Pinkel has had things going his way. Carl, we want to thank you. Wish you the best of luck, and thanks to Kansas City.
Our pleasure to host you guys. Come back and see us.
We will.
Thank you.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Visit southwest.com. The all-new Cadillac CTS, the 2008 Motor Trend Car of the Year. Aflac, ask about it at work. And Clean Exchange, a disposable head electric shaver, new from Remington.
And the Missouri Pep Rally held in Kansas City last night. The first ever event at the new Kansas City Power and Light District. That's I guess about 8-block development in downtown Kansas City here. And they had a great time. Fans from both these schools enjoying it. I mean, it is like the Texas-Oklahoma game, except it comes at the end of the year.
Being late, it almost feels like a bowl game or a conference championship game.
Missouri incomplete, but there's a holding call against Missouri.
Kansas came on the blitz, and Missouri's offensive line definitely had to react
on
in
the
a way.
offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
Caught off guard here. Speaker, the center, had no other choice but to try to lock on to Mike Rivera, who came right through the middle.
Kirk, what have you seen tonight that might have surprised you so far?
I'm surprised to see Missouri's defense is just coming right after Kansas and Todd Reesing, and it's worked to perfection to this point. We'll see if Reesing can make the adjustments. They had a good drive the last time out, just dropped the ball. And all of a sudden, we're seeing Chase Daniel get into sync and get this offense going.
Little option look with Temple on the pitch on a 1st and 20, and he makes it to the 11. As we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary, and so far, Kirk, Missouri not dominating only on the scoreboard. The numbers in their favor.
Yeah, everything seems to be in their favor right now, and I think everybody expected to see both offenses shining. We have 14 points. And here we are, under 6 minutes to go in the first half, but right now, Missouri has controlled the game on both sides of the ball.
2nd and 18. Here's the blitz. Picked up, and he throws in underneath. Kaufman's 2nd reception of the game, and Mortensen defends it.
One of the things that Bill Young has a lot to show he has confidence in his team. Most often when you face an offense like Gary Pinkel, who's going to put 5 receivers on the field, most defenses will put a nickel or a dime package with 5 or 6 defensive backs. For the most part, Bill Young tonight has decided to play his base defense with all 3 linebackers staying on the field.
Here's 3rd and 12. Kansas coming again. Throws for the 1st down. Martin Rucker, who caught the first touchdown pass of the night. And you know, Kirk, remember they told you we want them to blitz.
And they welcome the blitz because they know they get matchups that they like. Rucker at 6'6" going up against Holt. Finds a nice hole and a good throw by Daniel towards the sideline where Rucker can make that catch.
So on a 1st and 20, they pick up a 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line. Got the sideline, had a man wide open, was Tommy Saunders. Chase Daniels starting to pick this secondary apart.
He sure is, and this time Kansas sitting back and playing zone. There's a corner up to the right who comes up to take away the running back and opens it up right behind that defensive back to Tommy Saunders. Great recognition and a quick decision there by Chase.
Chase Daniels throwing 2 more touchdowns. Temple's in trouble. Brilliantly escapes to the 40-yard line after it looked like he was going to lose ground. Fine run.
Tony Temple brings so much life to this offense because he is so physical as a runner. And as I said, Kansas came into this game fundamentally sound, known as a good tackling team. They're in position in many cases to make a play. They just can't bring Temple down.
Temple off to the left of Daniel. Here comes the reverse. Temple keeps it. It was the reverse look that time, and I think you saw a picture of Macklin being jarred as the defender bought the fake on it.
Kansas, first thing most people are watching this game and maybe seeing Kansas for the first time, maybe they're saying, hey, they're 7th in the nation coming into tonight, stopping the run. But guys, they've never seen an offense like this. They're getting exposed. They've never seen this kind of talent tonight already in the first half, allowing a lot of yards on the ground. See if Kansas can try to right the ship here and start to get more physical up front.
A 3-man rush on 3rd and 4. Now they show 4 coming with a late blitz. Franklin short of the first down marker. Very well defended as Chris Harris came up and made the stop.
He was tackled by Chris Harris.
Against Missouri and their 5 wide receiver look, you have to have the ability to be able to make plays one-on-one and tackle in open space. That time Harris, for a young man, stepped up and kept him short, and they'll go for it here on 4th.
So Temple comes back into the game. He's to the right of Daniel. Daniel checks over to the sideline. There's the 2 tight ends also on the right side. They're going to throw for it short of the first down. Not a good-looking play. You've got to get the ball over that marker. I'm surprised that they didn't run that time instead of throwing it to Rucker.
Well, especially the way Tony Temple has been not only elusive, but been very physical. Maybe this is the break that Kansas needs to get back into this game.
We'll find out as we take a break. Now it's time for the Aflac trivia question. Yeah, Herbie.
I was hot last week.
Who was the player at the center of the 1960 Missouri-Kansas disputed game? The one that both still claim that they won. Think about that one.
60. My dad was a senior that year.
First down and 10 here. 2:52. Todd Reesing. Kansas trying to mount something here. Down a couple touchdowns. Got a man open. Got him in center field to the 30-yard line.
Roughing the passer.
Roughing the passer on top of it.
15 added to the end of the run. First down.
Shulock added on the 15 after Fields made the catch.
Well, Fields makes the catch, and again, look at the linebackers. Look at the safeties coming up. They're trying to attack Kansas, and Kansas is finally getting the ball downfield. Gives you an idea of the toughness of Reesing. He blocks that completely out, makes the throw, and then takes the hit right in the face that time by Shulock.
The Jayhawks are in the red zone now, and let's see what they can do. Trailing by 2 touchdowns. They'll start at the 17. Checking over to the sideline. Deflected. Incomplete. And again, pressure from that defensive front. Hood, Chavis, Williams, and Shulock bringing the heat.
Well, the knock on Reesing is his size. He's listed at 5'11". I was on the field. I think he's about 5'9". And the one thing they try to do is get hands up in the face. Ed Warner, offensive coordinator, to the top left. Assistant coaches down the top right. Quarterback Todd Reesing looking to the side. Most often, he'll wait, look into the defense, and then look over and see if he does this time. Now, Ed Warner will communicate what he wants. And then see the assistants make the sign, and then Reesing goes. They take everything out of the hands of Todd Reesing.
High and incomplete. Briscoe was open, and Todd threw a little high on that play.
The whole philosophy there, Brent, as you know, is about trying to allow Reesing just to focus on executing. We're seeing this has become a big trend in college football throughout the country. The offensive coordinator from upstairs makes the initial call. Quarterback will communicate that up to the offensive line and to the rest of the team, and then if they like it, they'll go. Otherwise, they'll look over and try to get the audible. Again, Warner makes the call, gives it to the assistants. Couple decoys, one's live. He makes the adjustments, and away they go.
Pump fake and in trouble. Fumble. Kansas saves it. Pouncing on it was Adrian Mays. He recovered the fumble. Saved the moment for Mangino's Jayhawks as Shulock was in on top. Watch him come around, jar the ball loose.
Nice job, and there's the effort that it takes to be able to bring down Todd Reesing. The coverage is there, but the relentless pass rush from the Missouri Tiger front gets to him.
So Scott Webb will try it again. Hit the right upright on his last field goal attempt. This one a little longer, 44-yarder. Jayhawks attempted to get on the board here in the first half. Pulled it to the left. Misfired again. He's 0 for 2. Things are not going the Jayhawks' way tonight at Arrowhead. Missouri leads it by 14.
IBM presents the 25 greatest players ever. Number 6, Jim Thorpe. Considered one of the greatest athletes in any sport, Thorpe was twice named All-American in football after leading Carlisle to upset wins over Harvard in 1911 and Army in 1912. IBM, getting it done.
So the legendary Jim Thorpe, number 6, just ahead of Tony Dorsett, Bo Jackson, Roger Staubach, Vince Young, also in the top 10. And number 1, of course, will be announced New Year's Day on the Rose Bowl here on ABC. Right now, after another missed field goal, Chase Daniels fires complete to Macklin, and near the end of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team, and Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And of course, that'll be near the end of the game, which has been dominated so far, ladies and gentlemen, by once beaten Missouri over unbeaten Kansas. 3 down. Jayhawks blitz off of it. Daniel flush to the right, takes off. Can he get the first down? Yes, he does. Chase Daniel, folks, grew up in high school with this system down in Southlake, Texas, a legendary high school program. It was just a touch short for Mac Brown's taste, coming off the Vince Young era down there. He committed early to Missouri after Ryan Perilou said he would not go to Texas, but opted instead to go to LSU. The Longhorns inquired. And Daniel said no, he would honor his commitment, and Missouri and Chase Daniel both are very, very happy. Here comes the blitz. Incomplete, knocked aside. All right, now, Mr. Herbstreit, we ask you the question, the player at stake back in 1960. Do you have any idea who it was? He's a running back.
Gale Sayers.
No, but it was Bert Cohn on this day. And folks,
of course.
Both schools claimed this victory. Bud Adams actually recruited him for his alma mater. You know, the legendary old man who owns the Titans? Well, Bert Cohn was a fine player, and Kansas won 2 games with him. After the fact, they declared him ineligible. They changed the rule, and Kansas said he was eligible the day we beat him. Blitz, Daniel in trouble. Going to go down. And Muhammad able to get in on him, number 27 on the blitz.
Muhammad gets in there, and Kansas waits until the last possible second. The bottom of the screen coming off the left edge. And this is one of the risks you take when you're in empty and there's no one there to be able to pick up the blitz. Muhammad gets there before Chase Daniel can make the throw to try to go after that blitz. You talked about Chase Daniel at South Lake Carroll. One thing, you're 47-1 as a starting quarterback in high school.
I'm surprised that Mangino's not using timeout here.
Yeah.
On 3rd and 18, he had a lot of time left on the clock. Here's the handoff inside to Temple. Run out of bounds, which stops the clock. Harris and Thornton. Chris Harris is a freshman working in the secondary. Now there's 18 seconds left on the clock here. 4th down, they'll be forced to punt, and going back deep for the Jayhawks, Anthony Webb. Interesting punt alignment that Missouri likes to use. Trying to get a piece of this one, and they're just going to let it roll down, and it'll be down inside the 15-yard line. 7 seconds left here in the half. We'll check in with Matt Weiner in New York.
Verizon Wireless update on the Iron Bowl. Alabama had picked off Brandon Cox of Auburn, but they get it right back in the red zone. John Parker Wilson tipped and intercepted by Gerard Powers. They've gone to the half there. Tigers have a 10-7 lead. Clemson leading at South Carolina now early in the 4th quarter. The Tigers have a 6-point advantage on the Gamecocks there.
And here, Mangino and the Jayhawks are just going to take a knee and go to the locker room and see if they can regroup. Missouri dominated the first half here. 272 yards of offense to 139. And let's go down to Lisa.
Thanks, Brent. Coach Mangino, tough getting points on the board. What adjustments do you have to make to get your offense going?
Well, you know, our offense is making some plays. Get down here in the red zone and we're not getting any points. And that's hurt us on offense. We had a turnover here at the 2-yard line and missed 2 field goals. So we got to make the most of our red zone opportunities.
3rd and 18. They had 3rd and 18. You had about 40-something seconds on the clock. You chose not to call any timeouts. Why did you want to just get to the locker room?
Well, we had 2:52 to go here. We're in a 2-minute offense. We missed the field goal here.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Yeah, I'm not sure that the Big Bear understood that last question, but at any rate, we'll send it to New York to John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie for the Capital One halftime report. Take it away, Big John.
Brent, thanks a lot. 14-0 is the score on this one. Some might be surprised that unbeaten Kansas can't get their offense going. But if you haven't seen this Missouri offense, and Chase Daniel, this is one of the best quarterbacks I've seen this year.
A lot of people have had a chance to see him, but they really didn't realize how accurate the guy is. 21 out of 26, he's seeing the game. And his opponent on the other side, Reesing's not seeing the game, and he's seeing the line of scrimmage. So I really feel like it's the running game is Tony Temple, Missouri's offense. They're out there executing, and the confidence that Daniel has as a player is unbelievable.
I think that's the difference. You talk about the running game a little bit, how physical Missouri has been compared to Kansas in this game. I think they got to get the running game going a little bit, and Reesing's got to move around, use his legs, get himself into the flow of game. It's a cold night. He hasn't been on the field enough because Missouri's been driving the football. Start using your legs, get into the game.
And I think that they also need to keep throwing the ball down the field. Reesing needs to keep attacking the middle of the field.
Winner of this game will get Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game. The Big East was decided this afternoon as well. They, of course, don't have a championship game. UConn against West Virginia. Winner was going to BCS. Pat White, 14 yards to Darius Raynaud, and the route was on.
You know what? This was a UConn defense that was one of the top 10 in the country in scoring defense, and the route was on. Steve Slayton here for the long touchdown run. 66 points is unbelievable. This is one of the top 2 teams hands down in the country.
And Doug, Pat White can do it with both his arm and his legs.
We've been seeing him do this for the last couple of years. Just amazing speed on the field. You know, why not 186 yards a day, his season high. Why not talk him Heisman again and get back in the mix? They have a shot at winning the national championship.
517 yards rushing, and yes, right now, West Virginia is sitting pretty. Beat Pitt next weekend, and they're on their way.
I talked to Coach Rod on Turkey Day, and he said, hey, all we want to do is play in space. We're going to make them defend our speed. And the speed was on display today.
Take care of your own. Win against Pitt, get to a national championship game. That's the bottom line.
That's the way it looks right now. Stick around. When we come back, we will try and clear up the national championship picture a little bit. There are a few things decided today, but nothing that lets you know who's going to be 1 versus 2.
The Capital One Halftime Report, brought to you by Capital One, always providing you with great value without the hassle for your financial needs. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Tigers lead the Jayhawks 14-0 at halftime. Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, and Desmond Howard. Now, KU recovered from slow first halves at A&M and at Colorado. Haven't been down 14 points this season and doing things tonight they haven't done all season. Missed field goals, crucial penalty, turnover, drop pass.
Hey, Missouri's quarterback, Chase Daniel, I tell you what, this is the difference in the football game, is this quarterback. Throws the ball straight. And in fact, the play he made where he went all around, threw a touchdown at right-hand corner. Hey, Desmond, that's the play of the game right now. He's the difference between the two teams, Chase Daniel.
Coach, what jumped out at me in the first half was the poor play of Kansas's defense. I'm standing on the sideline looking at Steve Tovar and some of the coaches, and they're very frustrated because it's not scheme, it's just desire and technique. They've had Chase bottled up in the backfield several occasions, but they've let him escape. So coming out in the second half, I expect them to blitz Chase more and to make some tackles on defense.
Very tough from that defense. They hold Missouri to 14 points, and you're all over it. They made a big stop there late in the second quarter. Kansas will get the ball to start the second half and needs to do something with it. Reesing on the field, the smallest quarterback I've ever seen. That includes our buddy Doug Flutie. Brett Kirk in the second half after these messages and a word for your ABC stations. Stay tuned.
This is WCHS TV.
Yeah, this is the competition I've been over and over until you sick of me. Victory after victory, I prove you can't get with me. My team's unstoppable. My defense that'll stop you fools. Make it hard to move. It's easy to lose when you're going against the best. Now you're being put to the test. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Now you're on your own. We can see who regulates and who gets to celebrate.
We welcome you back to Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines. Missouri dominated the first half. They lead the Kansas Jayhawks because of these miscues. An interception, a couple of missed field goals, and a penalty for 10 yards. But as Chris Fowler mentioned, the Manginos get the ball to start the second half. Now, so far, Hereford has been taken out of it because Missouri has elected to pooch kickoff here and keep it out of the ace return man's hands. And I would assume, Kirk, that they will continue that strategy here at the start of the second half.
I mean, it's worked out okay for Kansas. Hereford's not getting his hands on the ball, but McAnderson, the running back, who's back there along with Hereford, has come up and made a few catches and given him reasonable field position last 2 times.
But Hereford, he can take it to house.
Sure.
This one along the ground and picked off, and they give up real good field position this time near midfield. So this is an opportunity here.
You know, and sometimes this is a great case of sometimes being so concerned about a return man, you make an adjustment, and all of a sudden now you're starting to get close to midfield. But the one thing that I've seen in this first half is Todd Reesing slowly start to figure out Missouri's pressure. Missouri is coming after him unlike he's seen anything all year. It's going to be up to Kansas to give him chances to move him around in that pocket because Missouri's batting the ball down in many cases with the pressure up front.
They toss on the first down, and there is the big running back, McAnderson, powering ahead is KU's best starting field position of the night in our Southwest Airlines playbook. This is a huge play here.
This is right after a big play by Todd Reesing to set up what looked like a potential touchdown interception by William Moore. And then the last 2 times Kansas had the ball, field goal opportunities, and both missed by Scott Webb.
Now on second down and 2. losing a yard on this play with McAnderson. And that's Shulock making the stop.
The slow developing plays from Kansas in the running game, you might as well just discard those. Missouri is coming too fast on defense and attacking, and if you're slowly trying to get to the outside, they're going to easily chase down the running back, Brandon McAnderson.
Fresh defense across the board on the receivers. 3rd and 3. Throwing for the first down. Does just that. There's a penalty flag on it. Fine is the receiver.
May have gotten Briscoe here on a little bit of a hold.
Personal foul, face mask, number 21 on the defense.
That is
15-yard penalty, first down.
So Bridges incurs the penalty. And again, Kansas has an opportunity, but can they finish?
I saw Briscoe and Bridges lock up, and I couldn't tell if it was an attempted pick by Kansas right just to the left there. Oh, without question, Bridges gets up into the face, and Brent, you're exactly right. Kansas gets the ball to start the second half, take advantage of a poor kickoff, and now deep into Missouri territory. If they want to win this game, they've got to capitalize on this drive.
At the 17-yard line. And again, Mangino told Lisa, trouble in the red zone. And here they are again. Here comes the blitz. Picked up. Throws out of the end zone, and it'll be 2nd down and 10. And as long as Reesing sits tight and the big defensive linemen get in, he's having a hard time seeing downfield, Kirk.
Well, his receivers are going to have to be able to break away from man coverage. You're looking at a quarterback last week hit his first 19 of his first 20 passes last week against Iowa State. Right now, he doesn't look as comfortable sitting in that pocket against this Missouri defense.
Now, one of the ways to change that is to move the pocket to the right or to the left, as Chase Daniel and Missouri did in the first half. Straight handoff, and not much doing on that play. Now it is 3rd down and long here in the red zone.
Again, a slow developing zone play with Brandon McAnderson at 235 pounds against a attacking Missouri defense. It's going to be difficult to execute. It's going to come down to the Kansas wide receivers getting away from man-to-man coverage. They're getting right up into their face, not letting them get off the line of scrimmage and disrupting the timing between Reesing and the receivers.
Reesing straight back. Throws middle. Intercepted on the deflection. Here's Bridges. And Bridges takes it into Kansas territory.
By just not being accurate on this throw, throws it behind Henry and high. When Henry got a hand on it, Missouri's Bridges is there, and how fitting for Bridges after the personal foul. He comes up to make a dazzling interception and a big return.
That's the 2nd interception thrown by Todd Reesing, who came in with only 4 overall, and tonight he's thrown a pair. So the Missouri defense continues to dominate, and Temple breaks for about 7 yards on 1st and 10, and Reesing on the telephone with the coaches upstairs.
He's talking with Ed Warner, his offensive coordinator, and it'll be interesting to see how Todd Reesing, who's had such a flawless season, is able to bounce back and not worry about the mistakes that he and this offense have made, but they're putting their own defense under the microscope and putting a lot of pressure right now on the Jayhawk defense.
Here's that spread attack orchestrated by Chase Daniel, and this time they go to Derek Washington. Washington across the yellow 1st down line.
You heard Desmond Howard at halftime mention this. I talked about it in the first half. Kansas has held Missouri and Chase Daniel to 14 points, but this is not good tackling. If you get there, John Larson, and you get there, James Holt, you've got to wrap up this Missouri team. They're here to play tonight.
Field is spread all the way across. Throwing underneath for about 7 yards, putting it in the hands of Tommy Saunders, and we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. And as you would expect, look at that rushing total for the Jayhawks, only 21 yards.
21 yards, and you're looking at an offense for Kansas that's come in tonight averaging 500 yards of total offense, 7th in the nation, and 46 points a game, and there's a goose egg up on the board.
Second down and 3. Temple picking up the first 10, and he's out of bounds close to the 10-yard line.
Been really impressed with this Missouri offensive line and Gary Pinkel's ability to mix up the play calling to keep Kansas off balance. I know that Chase Daniel gets most of the accolades, makes so many dazzling plays, but this offensive line is giving them some great balance. And look at this, Rucker, the tight end, going to take a snap.
Shades of McFadden tucks it down, and he's lit up at the line of scrimmage. Hit hard by Mortensen and Holt, two of the linebackers.
There's only one here, McFadden.
I think so.
I mean, he's 6'6". Gives a little fake. I don't know who that faked out, but 6'6", 255, taking a direct snap. Only one thing the big fella's going to do.
His brother, Mike Rucker, a defensive end for Carolina, he winced on that play. Daniel, again moving around the pocket, completing the throw to Franklin. 1st and 10, reaching for the end zone, and down right there. Fine play by Will Franklin.
Chase Daniel comes off his primary, starts to scramble to buy time, and William Franklin, again, the Tigers showing a tenacious attitude, fighting for that 2nd and 3rd effort, and that time Franklin almost takes it into the end zone.
Yeah, Lee Corso at halftime talked about Chase Daniel's mobility on that 2nd touchdown, and that time again, Chase was rolling hard to the right, buying time back there in the backfield. And they bang it across with Jimmy Jackson. They've got a 3-touchdown advantage now, Kirk. It's all uphill for the Jayhawks.
They are in a position that they've never seen all year, playing a better team than they have seen all year, and all of a sudden Todd Reesing has to shake the cobwebs, forget about everything that has happened. 10 and a half minutes to go, still in the 3rd quarter. Plenty of time for him if he can get things going. Try to get this offense in sync.
Jeff Wolpert adds the extra point. So the junior quarterback from Southlake, Texas. Coaches opened up an envelope from the Heisman folks saying, stay tuned, you may be invited to New York. This game being broadcast on ABC HD, presented by DLP HD TV. 21-0. The Kansas Jayhawks facing their biggest deficit of the season. Their largest earlier, only 7 points. And it had been 2 costly interceptions here, Kirk. And on both occasions, Missouri has driven for touchdowns. One of them 98 yards in the first half.
Right now you have the feeling that Kansas is shell-shocked. It's almost like they don't know what has hit them. Keep in mind, the last 3 times they've had the football, they've had success moving down the field, only to miss their field goals, and then that last series, they threw the interception.
Back to the pooch punt. On one hop, fielded, and they will start this time at about the 34 as Brandon McAnderson picks it up, and let us send you to New York and Matt Weiner.
Brett, this Sports Center Minute is powered by Vizio. If the Tigers hang on, they will face Oklahoma in the Big 12 championship game. The Sooners won the Bedlam game today, riding 4 Sam Bradford touchdown passes. You'll see that 8 Eastern next Saturday night in San Antonio. And West Virginia ran up 517 yards on the ground to rout UConn. The Mountaineers win the Big East and put themselves in position for the BCS title game.
And Matt, of course, Oklahoma, the only team to defeat Missouri this year, and that the result of Missouri turnovers in the 4th quarter. They actually led in that game before leading by 10. And let us send you down below to Lisa.
Well, Brett, remember, this is supposed to be a home game for Kansas, but Missouri is looking awful comfortable here. I spoke to Mark Mangino about it earlier in the week, and he said, you know what, our kids are excited to play here at Arrowhead. Many of these kids will never play in an NFL stadium. But I said, Coach, with such a big game, would you prefer to be playing on your home field at Memorial Stadium? He didn't give a yes or a no. He said, I'm a realist. I'm focusing on what it is, and it is what it is. Right?
Exactly. Second down and 8. Reese slips one out wide for a 1st and 10, and Desmond Briscoe, the freshman from Dallas, the receiver.
Kansas came into this game, Brent, and I think we all thought for them to be able to compete with Chase Daniel and have a chance to win this game, their trend of playing smart would have to continue. Not turn the football over, minimize the mistakes, and that has not been the story so far in this game.
Marcus Henry's been quiet. The only time they've gone to him, pass interference was called. Here comes McAnderson. And he battles across midfield, put it down on the ground, so hang on. Missouri claims they've got another turnover here. Let's let the officials sort this out. Kansas football.
Running play this time going right after Missouri. Not bouncing it slowly to the outside, going right at them, and the ball came out once he was down. It's a good call.
Second down and 4 here. It looks like Missouri has called a timeout.
That's our first timeout of the half. That's a full timeout.
So Pinkel and the Tigers with a comfortable lead right now. 9:13 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Visit southwest.com. Saturn, with 5 totally new models, it's just something to rethink about. Saturn. Pacific Life. For insurance, annuities, and investments, choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Clean Exchange, a disposable head electric shaver, new from Remington.
Well, the basketball rivalry will continue on January 19th, and then again on Lawrence on February 4th, the 19th in Columbia. Incidentally, Kansas has a big one tomorrow night. 8 Eastern on ESPN. You want to watch this one if you're a Hoops fan. Kansas and Arizona tomorrow night. Second down and 4. And Reese moves over to the right this time and completes it. So he moved the pocket a little bit that time to the right, found some daylight, and his tight end fine.
Moving him around, taking advantage of his athletic ability, and taking advantage of an overly aggressive Missouri defense. Keep saying it. Which of these receivers can get away from the man-to-man coverage and give themselves a chance to execute and make it easier on Todd Reesing? That time, the tight end was there for Reesing.
Straight back. Going deep. Diving reception. A beautiful catch by Desmond Briscoe. There's a flag down. Hang on. Back at the line of scrimmage. It's coming.
Defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
Well, Brent, Justin Garrett, who was in coverage and actually trying to slow down Desmond Briscoe, got caught looking downfield, and once he realized that the ball's in the air, he's trying to catch up to him. He pulled onto the jersey of Briscoe, but finally Reesing just enough time. The offensive line helped him, delivered a football, and what a catch by the freshman.
That's a 34-yard gain. They're at the Missouri 5. Here comes the blitz. McAnderson can't get away from it. William Moore, who's had one big interception tonight. There's Moore, number 1, has stepped into that secondary. And you will see his name somewhere in the all-Big Ten lineup next weekend, I'm sure.
William Moore will always be up in the line of scrimmage, Brent. Got to beat man-to-man coverage for Kansas.
Racine on an option, going to keep it, bang toward the end zone. He's a yard short.
One of the best calls against man, especially down inside his 10-yard line, is an option call. Kansas trying to get to the outside, trying to give the quarterback a chance to pitch it, but give Missouri credit. Even though they're in man coverage, they strung the option out and held him short of the end zone. This is a must score for Kansas.
3rd and goal. Jumbo look, McAnderson. Touchdown, Kansas. The Jayhawk fans with something to cheer finally.
All those slow snap counts. This time they went with the hurry up with their jumbo look. And it opened it up very nicely for Brandon McAnderson.
Webb adds the extra point. And it was a brilliant catch by Desmond Briscoe. Diving reception. And McAnderson battling his way in, and the Jayhawks are finally on the board.
If you're in Kansas, you hate Missouri. If you're in Missouri, you hate Kansas. That's just how it is.
It's going to be the biggest game of my life.
Showtime, baby. It's the reason you come to play college football, for an atmosphere like this.
The 116th border war. Missouri claims they're dead even, 53-53 with 9 ties. Kansas said, we won in 1960, not you. 54-52 and 9. Real count. Rivalries in college football. Only one is older. And now with the Jayhawks on the scoreboard here, Kirk, you're saying they need a defensive stop. Well, Macklin is back deep. He's saying we need a bolt of lightning.
Yeah, he is. But, you know, the stadium's starting to come alive. You're seeing some of the blue and red. You really felt that Kansas needed to get that score to have a reason to believe. They've got their crowd now back into the game, and their defense jumping up and down on the sideline.
And then they're going to kick it to Macklin, the sensational freshman, slowly to the 20. He's out to the 31-yard line, and we check in. Matt Weiner, what's going on with Clemson and South Carolina?
Could be a big night for Tigers all around the country. Clemson and South Carolina, as you mentioned, this is Mark Buckholz, who had missed 2 on the night. Pure from 34 yards out. That's your game winner. Clemson's won 5 of 6 in the series. They get their 9th win on the season. The Auburn Tigers leading the Iron Bowl. That game 10-7 as they head toward the 4th in Alabama.
All right, and here, of course, it is 21-7, Matt. Missouri had a 21-point lead. The Jayhawk fans have something to cheer about here. Young Daniel rolls hard to the right. A 9-yard gain. Putting it back in the hands of one of his talented tight ends over there. So Mr. Rucker makes that catch.
Brent, they love to stretch. The Missouri offense wants to stretch you horizontally, and they want to stretch you vertically and see how you respond to having to defend in space. That time a good read and an easy read for Chase Daniel.
Jason Ray, one of the wideouts. Temple, 1st and 10. He has been a pest as far as the Kansas defense is concerned here tonight. 98 yards. He's going for a 100-yard night here, Kirk.
Well, the thing that allows him to find the seams is that the Missouri splits are so wide. And the reason is twofold. They're trying to push that defensive line out further and further from Chase Daniel and also create running lanes.
This is the offense, an acquired taste by Coach Pinkel. He didn't come to Missouri with this offense, but he decided this was a way to compete with the big boys in the Big 12, and he's made it work. That spread attack. Urban Meyer was one of those that he talked at length with, having known him from his days in the Mid-American Conference. Tony Temple, the ball carrier again.
Temple's such a physical runner. I mentioned the splits, and you can see here in between the linemen, these are very wide splits, and it pushes that defense out and makes them have to defend a larger space in their gap control defense and gives their linemen blocking angles.
2nd down to 6, and here's Macklin. Short of the 1st down, but he stepped out of bounds on the near side.
Just have have that feeling we're at a very important part of this football game where Missouri has controlled the game for the most part, up by 21. Kansas comes down and they put it up 7. It's 21-7, and now just have that feeling this is an important drive for both of these teams here midway, almost closing in on 5 minutes in the third quarter.
This is the pistol look now. The handoff to Jackson, who picks up the 1st and 10. This is the Chris Ault offense from out Reno way, where the quarterback backs away from the center, but he's not in the complete shotgun, and the tailback is right behind him. So Pinkel has added a lot of varieties. He's picked up stuff on this offense from around the country, but you've got to have the trigger man. Every coach says you cannot run this without the trigger man, and number 10. Pass is complete. And that is Jared Perry's first catch of the night. I want to take you back on the schedule that Missouri played this year. This is impressive. No one knew that Illinois was going to become that good, and that was a shootout in St. Louis. And Kurt, you were on the sideline against Oklahoma, and you said that except for the turnovers, they should have won that game.
Well, Missouri was in a position to have a chance to win. They actually had the lead in the fourth quarter in Norman and then self-destructed a bit with some turnovers.
It was 2nd down and 5 for the Tigers. They hand it off. There's the penalty flag. Macklin breaks free at the 20 for the end zone, folks, but this one's coming back, I believe. There was a penalty flag back by the line of scrimmage. Macklin zipped on into the end zone. 35-yarder.
Holding number 2 on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty from the straddle foul. Repeat 2nd down.
That's a second big penalty on Franklin here tonight.
He got caught up with Darryl Stuckey, the safety. It looked like he got a hold of his jersey. And once he did, that's when the flag came in. Pivotal block right in front of Macklin. Just at the top. You can see it right at the top. Locking in, actually, it's on Rivera.
Yeah, he was really had a grip on Rivera, didn't he? 2nd down and 10 now for Daniel. Here comes the blitz. Stands tall and delivers complete. To the 23-yard line goes Alexander, who has had a big night. That's 17 more yards. And that's an 87-yard night on 6 catches for Alexander and 1 big touchdown.
Brent Chase Daniel has that linebacker mentality. They brought the blitz. He sits in there very patiently, reads the defense, and puts a strike right into the arms of the receiver.
Daniel with the handoff on a 4-man rush. Temple breaks a tackle. He's out of bounds. Stuckey making the play defensively as John Larson had penetrated that time.
Again, Tony Temple has great balance. He's got great power. He's physical. He'll make you miss. He's got all those beautiful qualities that you want in a running back. But if you're Kansas, you're going to look back at this game and say, guys, we were there to make plays. We just got to be able to tackle. John Larson that time missing a golden opportunity for a big loss.
Only 2 linemen down so far on the front. Now 3. Here comes the blitz. He just stands in there and delivers short of the 1st and 10. Tommy Saunders, the Z receiver in this formation.
The accuracy is amazing from Chase Daniel. Right now he's 28 of 33. He's not missing very many passes. Don't get caught up in the size of Chase Daniel. He can make every throw on the field. And Gary Pinkel told me this week, he said, I've been around a lot of great quarterbacks. In his days at Washington and around college football, he said it's the best quarterback he's had.
Back in the pistol, and timeout is going to be called by Daniel. Didn't like the look of the play call. Let's go down below and check in with Lisa.
Well, Brent, it was just a couple of weeks ago that Chase Daniel got a letter that he said, it's new territory for us at Missouri. No one else has gotten a letter from the Heisman Trust before. He said, my quarterback's coach, David Yost, handed it to me, and it had Heisman Trust in the top corner, and it had my name on it. He said it was just an honor. They just wanted to tell me that my name's being thrown out there and to get ready. He said, for me, no greater honor than that. Even if I don't get an invitation, just the fact that I got that letter makes me proud.
And Kirk, who would you vote for right now for
I'll tell you,
number one?
Darren McFadden's performance against South Carolina got him back in the mix, and then what he did against LSU, I think he's the best player in the country. And Tim Tebow's having just one of those years you just scratch your head and say, is this possible? So
which one do you vote for?
Right now, we still have a little bit of football left.
Politician.
We still have a little bit of football. Darren McFadden right now is the guy I would vote for. How about you?
I echo that. I thought McFadden's performance against LSU was the most meaningful of this year. Here's a youngster who's going to be the top pick, everyone says, in the NFL draft. He laid it all on the line. He did everything in that big upset in Baton Rouge. Chase Daniel, though, deserves an invite to New York City. He is that good. He deserves to be one of the finalists. Another completion, this one caught by Saunders.
Yeah, and as you know, the invites are based on the amount of votes that these players all receive. ESPN doesn't just randomly select who they want to invite. Based on the votes, Chase Daniel might have an opportunity to be there. Seems like he's a top 3 candidate if he ends up winning this game.
He's been outstanding here tonight, no question about it. And you can tell just how much he is in charge of this offense. There's a whistle. So just prior to the snap.
False start, 76 offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Ryan Madison moving. And you know what? You know, it reminds me a little bit of a Peyton Manning of the college game, with the way he's in total charge out there. He looks over, he's got the signal for the sideline, moves his players around. He's very confident in how he does things out here on the field.
Yeah, what I started to say is don't get caught up in the lack of height, because he's listed at 6 feet, and he just makes every throw you want to see made on a college football field.
Pulling lineman, stands, comes, delivers, short of the end zone, and a first down. Alexander again. Oh, Alexander wanted his second touchdown, didn't he?
Well, he came close, and Alexander a lot of times is a forgotten man because of the other weapons, but it's just another example of how Missouri will attack you in different phases. Chase Daniel right now in the locker room, or in the huddle, yelling at the offensive line, trying to fire them up to get him ready to score right here on this drive.
We're going to give it a pistol look with Jimmy Jackson, the tailback, right behind him. They'll hand to him, picks his way, and he's going to be short. So this is going to be a third down coming up. John Larson,
the ball carrier.
2 very talented defensive ends who are outstanding students at Kansas, playing well up front tonight for the Jayhawks, who have their hands full with this Missouri team, as will anybody who plays them, whether it's Oklahoma or whoever they should happen to meet in a bowl game. This is a very good-looking Missouri football team. Washington now in. Going to throw the swing to him. Can he get the daylight? Touchdown. So Washington had just checked into the game, brought the swing pass call with him. And Missouri goes back on top by 3 touchdowns. And the Jayhawk fans are quiet again.
Washington is their more powerful running back that they have. Even a little bit more powerful than Tony Temple, if you can believe it. Once he made the catch, running downhill, it was an easy touchdown for the Tigers.
Wolford nails the extra point. So Washington's first touchdown reception of his career, and it came in a huge game. There was a weekend of overtime in the SEC, and here in the Big 12 for the North Championship, and a spot against Oklahoma in San Antonio next Saturday night. Kirk and I will be down there looking forward to that one. And the news is not good for the Jayhawks, folks. When you take a look at what Chase Daniel has done in the fourth quarter this year, okay? A rating of 194.56. He's completed 37 of 42 for 399 yards. Unbelievable, and that's just in the fourth quarter. The bouncing kickoff fielded on the 25, out to the 35, and let's take a look at our rivalry notebook presented by Sonic. And there's the game that unfolded in Norman here, Kurt.
Again, you could see by the way the game went, the ebb and flow of that football game, that Oklahoma is a team that right now regains their composure, regains the confidence. Alan Patrick, very physical offensive line. They'll go into that Big 12 championship game with a lot of confidence, no matter who they end up playing. Especially with the way Missouri looks right now. I'm sure they're tired of hearing about Missouri. They'd probably like a chance at the Tigers.
Incomplete, second down and 10. Well, let's give them some props in that first game. We've talked about how Missouri was ahead of Oklahoma in the fourth quarter, how turnovers turned it around, and then Oklahoma won by 10. But in that game, the Sooners defense sacked young Daniel 3 times, and they picked him off twice. So it isn't like they can't play a little defense down there.
Oh, of course not. And I think they did a very good job of giving different looks to Chase Daniel and tried to create some confusion, and it did work out with some turnovers.
Downfield, complete for a first and 10 to the 41-yard line. So Reese makes one of his better throws to Dexton Fields.
Dexton Fields last week had a huge game with 11 receptions, and in this football game tonight, he's been the go-to guy for Todd Reesing. 6 catches again. I agree with you. I think Marcus Henry's got to get on track here and try to be able to beat some coverage and get downfield for Reesing to be able to throw the football.
Fake. Reesing fires on a one-hopper, incomplete, and it'll be second down and 10.
He was looking Henry's way. One thing that is an advantage for teams that run these types of offense is their base offense is basically a 2-minute offense. So Kansas, the one thing they're going to have to do is just pick up the pace. It's a no huddle, but you got to pick up the pace once the clock is started.
Second and 10. Deflected, incomplete. Was incomplete. Bible's right on top of it. Arm was coming forward on the play. Ziggy Hood applying the heat that time.
Missouri's defense has done as good a job as we have seen this year at getting after Todd Reesing and keeping him in the pocket. He's an undersized quarterback that would love to break contain, but Missouri is keeping him in the pocket, and you can see how uncomfortable he is when he is contained.
Third and 10 for the Jayhawks. Here comes an all-out blitz. Nobody there, but he's short because Bridges read the run as he came up. But had he been able to find a receiver on that all-out blitz, they might have struck gold on that play. I mean, everybody was coming.
Zero coverage, man-to-man, nobody in the middle of the field for Missouri's defense. It's a high-risk, high-reward type of defense, and Reesing had to scramble.
Final seconds, last play here. They're not going to get it off. We'll go to the fourth quarter. And ESPN Saturday Night Football, presented by Southwest Airlines, returns after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Missouri, 15 minutes away from a rematch with Oklahoma for the Big 12 title. A Missouri fan taking a
little shot
there. Here we go, folks. Big fourth down as we start the fourth quarter. Kansas down by 3 touchdowns, 28-7. And here's your 4th and 3 for Todd Reesing and the Jayhawks. Nobody open. Got it. A creative play with Marcus Henry finally coming up with his first catch of the night.
We've been waiting for Marcus Henry, but Missouri, they've showed blitz. They've showed pressure almost every third down, and it confused Todd Reesing because they only rushed 3 and dropped 8, and he threw it just over the head of a defender right to Henry.
Now on first down. There's the penalty flag. It came late, and that's on Moore. Fields was the receiver.
Pass interference, defense number 1. That's a spot foul, first down.
Coach Pinkel not happy about that.
He's frustrated because the official way back in the corner came in with the call.
Good call.
It sure is. It looked like Moore got there just a split second too early. Came through with his shoulder right over the top of Fields.
First and 10. Back in that red zone.
Kansas not only needs scores, but they need them fast.
And timeout is called by Reesing. He'll come on over to the Mangino sideline with 80,537 here in Arrowhead Stadium. Our Pacific Life game summary, and it will show you how we got here.
Oh, Kansas has self-destructed, something we have not seen. A couple interceptions have resulted in 14 points, and Chase Daniel. What an amazing story. We wondered which quarterback would emerge tonight and lead his team to a victory, and Chase Daniel 31 of 36 in complete control for the Tigers.
And like we also said, Chase Daniel's fourth quarter numbers are phenomenal as we come into that quarter right now with Reesing and the Jayhawks needing to strike here quickly like this. They've got to move a little bit faster.
Yeah, they are going to have to pick it up. It would be interesting to see if they're able to get a score here because Todd Reesing, if he gets the ball back, they're moving down the field, but they've got to punch it into the end zone. No chance at a field goal. They've got to go for touchdowns.
So the Manginos are ready. Here comes the blitz. Got it off. And he found his man again for another first and 10. Marcus Henry suddenly. And there's a penalty flag to the side of the head. And it is against the Jayhawks.
15-yard penalty, complete first down.
A huge penalty. And the signal from Bible was that somebody...
I'm sorry, Brent. Anthony Collins, far left offensive tackle, gets up into the face of Hood and he had so much force behind that, he just knocked Hood's helmet off by going right through his face mask. Collins, the leader of that offensive line. It's been one of those nights for Mark Mangino.
And now the ball comes all the way back. Close to the 30-yard line. It'll be first and 26. Pocket breaking down. Incomplete. And that was Shulock again. Shulock is a junior from Rockdale, Texas. And they've drawn another penalty flag on it.
After the play ended, personal foul number 1 on the defense. That's a 15-yard penalty.
That's Moore.
First down.
And that is a huge mistake by the Tigers.
Well, Moore has played a perfect game tonight for Missouri. And this was well after the whistle blew. Moore's throwing the football. He gets his hands on the ball coming in, thinking it's maybe a fumble. And then he wants to just throw it into the kind of a light toss, but he threw it into a Kansas player. It was the intent that the official called.
But it gives the Jayhawks a first and 10 across the 15-yard line from the 14. Here is Meyer with his second catch, battling to get back to the original line of scrimmage.
This is not helping Kansas and what they're trying to do. These passes to the sideline, and I know you want to try to outflank the defense, this time throwing it to Meyer, try to pick up a block, but Missouri, again, is attacking downfield. You have to throw the football right into the teeth of that defense. Throw it downfield.
On second down. Middle. Got 9 yards with Briscoe.
Briscoe has really matured this year for this offense as a true freshman. So much more confident now. 7 touchdowns on the year. These last 4 weeks, you can just see what a bright future that Briscoe has, not only down the road, but as I said, this year, he is a different football player.
Third and 2. Blitz Reesing. Shakes it and throws it high and complete. Henry, the receiver. Terrell was the defensive back with him in the back of the end zone, Kurt.
The battle up front the entire game has been won by Missouri. Ziggy Hood fighting through there. They had a nice blitz, but I'm going to tell you, Brent, Oklahoma's going to watch this game, and they're going to look at this Missouri defense. This is a different defense tonight that I'm watching than the way they played earlier this year when they went up against Oklahoma.
So what they do here on 4th and 2, Reesing's going to keep it. Got the 1st and 10, end zone, touchdown, Kansas. Tough run by the little fella.
Steve Redmond, 18, comes down, loses contain, and gives Reesing a chance, even with a gimp ankle, to try to get to the corner, and he just makes it before Sean Witherspoon chases him down. And, Brent, you're right, he showed some toughness there to get it in.
Wood slides the extra point over to the right. Kyle Tucker, the punter, is the holder. He got it down, and you're watching ESPN on ABC. Well, Dancing with the Stars, the final dance, Monday, 8/7 Central on ABC. Kirk is pulling for Elio Castroneves. Did you find out who his partner is?
I didn't know he's still in it. I know his partner's still in it. I think it's Julianne. She's doing a bang-up job this season. Phenomenal.
That shows a huge hit.
Watch it every week.
By Herb Street household who's got this set on, man.
Oh, yeah.
So should you on Monday night.
Yep. Tuesday results, Monday night live, we're all over.
Jeremy Maclin back deep now. And this time they will try to keep it away. He runs up on it. On the run, bobbles it at the 25-yard line. Battling to get free on the outside. And he makes it to the 31-yard line. A little excitement there. And speaking of excitement, let's go to the BCS now. The ESPNU All-State Standings Review. As you know, number 1 has lost. Number 2 could lose if they don't come out. But West Virginia and Missouri, they're the 2 hot topics. And folks, how about the Buckeyes and Mr. Herbstreit kicking back tonight with their feet up, enjoying their favorite band. Saying we're getting closer and closer to New Orleans with every snap. First down and 10. They spread the field across now. And this is Chase Daniels' quarter, or at least it has been most of the season. Going deep to Maclin. And I don't see a penalty flag. Incomplete. Maclin says, are you kidding me? Thornton was the defensive back there, and that was a high-speed collision, Kurt.
Well, let's take a look. It looked like Thornton closed in a little bit early, and I love Missouri's play call. Kansas just scored.
Oh.
Yeah, Thornton got there just a second. I'll tell you what, if we're going to go back and say William Moore had pass interference in the last series, if Moore pass interfered, then Thornton definitely had pass interference on that play.
There's the handoff. There's a penalty flag on the far side. Here comes Temple in the foot race. Made it to midfield, but there is a penalty flag on that far side. That pass. Just wait for John Bible, and he's done a terrific job with this crew so far.
Illegal substitution on the offense. The 11th player came on the field, did not get inside the 9-yard marks. That's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
Rich Pinkel obviously not agreeing with that call.
One of the risks of shuffling players on and off the field and running the no huddle, sometimes there is some confusion on the sideline of running players on and running players off. And when you sneak them in late, you're going to get called for that right at the top of the screen.
You'll see me a question about that. And here comes Macklin on that screen. 1st and 10 for Mizzou. And so far, Kirk, the only incomplete pass that Daniel has thrown is that one where both you and I thought might have been interference down the middle. He's now 11 of 12 this half.
He's feeling it right now, and they're continuing to attack this Kansas defense. And Chase Daniels, his entire season, he has just been lights out, as you talked about earlier in the 4th quarter.
And he comes with a 1st and 10. He's at the 44-yard line, checking over at the sideline. Here's Temple, drug down from behind by Russell Bronson. Well, Kirk, there's what we have been talking about.
Yeah, he comes into this game, and not to mention what he's done tonight in the 3rd quarter. As the game goes on, Chase Daniel becomes more in command and understanding of what the defense is trying to do to stop his offense. And right now, Missouri is attacking Kansas. Kansas comes in tonight 3rd in the nation in creating turnovers, and tonight they haven't created one. To get back into this game, this defense will have to make a play.
From Southlake, Texas. Daniel swings it to the outside, and Macklin with his speed moving toward that 1st down marker. They're going to give it to him. So the chains move again.
There are just so many game breakers in this offense with Macklin, Alexander, Franklin, Perry, the big tight ends of Rucker and Kaufman, Temple out of the backfield, Jackson, Washington in the backfield, and you throw in a quarterback who's making great decisions with all of that versatility. It's no wonder this offense is so tough to stop.
Pump fake, coming deep down the middle, Macklin! Incomplete. Man, is he exciting.
Holding, 78 offense, 10-yard penalty, repeat 1st down.
And Gregory's holding penalty would have nullified it anyway, but Macklin made a fine effort on it, didn't he?
He's one of those players that every time he gets into the football game and he goes downfield, you hold your breath. Gregory with a great takedown. This is wrestling country, right?
Indeed.
Nice takedown.
Big 12, great wrestling team.
Yeah, he can make the team.
The revival of the Big 12 North this season. And as a result of what happened with the Missouris and Kansas, Nebraska will change its coach. And battling for the back toward the marker is Tommy Saunders, and we go to Matt Weiner.
All right, Brent, 72nd edition of the Iron Bowl at Alabama is running out of time. That's Brandon Cox. Great view of it. Quarterback sneak for the touchdown. Tigers now have a 10-point advantage there. And about 3 minutes to go in that one.
Didn't get much for their $4 million, did they, so far? 2nd down and 10 coming up now for Mizzou.
Kansas playing with soft corners. Look at the cushion from the corners with the Missouri wide receivers. Daniel throwing underneath that coverage quite a bit. Look at it again.
There's the 1st and 10. And there's Big Rucker.
Chase Daniels seeing the same thing that we're seeing up here. He'll take that matchup with Rucker, especially with the soft coverage. There needs to be some urgency from Kansas when you're down by 14 in the 4th quarter. You've got to get up into the face of these receivers.
As they look over to the sideline, Kirk, it brings to mind a conversation that we had with the coaches with Pinkel. Let's watch this snap first. I want to tell you about it because something really struck me when I looked at their record. Here comes Temple, spinning and down. I said, you know, of all the scores this year, I can't believe that you held Texas Tech to 10 points. And he said, in truth, it wasn't just the defense. We went on long, sustained drives, and we kept the ball away from the Red Raiders. They didn't have a chance to strike again. And that's what strikes me about this particular drive, is that Missouri's coming down methodically, bringing the clock down, leading by 14 here.
Here's again, underneath the coverage. They're going to continue to take those chances if Kansas will give it to them. But that's a great point, because it's a combination of things. Missouri's offense eating up clock, keeping the ball away from a potent offense, and also being aggressive on defense. Twice now. Go back to the Texas Tech game when they played against them. They were aggressive against Mike Leach. They had 3 sacks. They held them to 10 points. They had 4 interceptions. They challenged them up in their face. It's the exact same blueprint tonight against Todd Reesing and this Jayhawks offense.
They're down in 6 for Daniel. Closing in, and he still gets it off, and it'll be 4th down coming up. And the intended target. Larson was applying a little bit of heat.
14-point lead. Chase Daniel frustrated because he didn't score, but a great decision just to back off and throw that football away. No need to take a risk.
Jeff Wolford comes in, and you wouldn't think they'd even consider their second fake field goal of the day here. Leading by 14, 10 minutes to go. It's a 43-yarder. They've got a good leg. 10 of 10 in Big 12 competition. Make it 11 of 11. So not only do they have a smooth offense and a tough defense, they've got a talented kicker. That helps.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Southwest Airlines. With Southwest Airlines' convenient nonstop flights, it's like having your own company plane. Visit southwest.com. DLP HD TV. DLP is the official ESPN on ABC HD telecast sponsor of college football. The Nissan Titan, proud presenter of the 2007 Heisman Trophy. To cast your vote, go to theheismanvote.com. And Verizon Wireless.
Well, Lamar Hunt thought this would be a good idea, and folks, it's a great idea. Second largest Arrowhead Stadium crowd since 1972, and the Raiders are here, and they will play the Chiefs in this stadium. The crew tonight will work throughout the night to turn this field around to play an NFL game starting at noon tomorrow. And the Chiefs have got a long winning streak working against the Raiders right now. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Here's that high kickoff. Herford comes up to field it at the 21-yard line for the Jayhawks. Jayhawks have to move now. Herford is out of bounds, and let's go down to Lisa.
Well, Brent, you said it. It's going to be a quick turnaround. I spoke to Stadium's operations folks during the week, and they said about 200 to 250 crew people will come in here. They're all waiting in the tunnel right now, waiting for the buzzer to go. I guess you don't really have a buzzer in football, do you? But anyway, they're waiting to come in here. They're going to sweep up the field, repaint it to put the Chiefs markings on there, and they're going to work throughout the night.
All right, Lisa, thank you. Reesing throws complete, and stepping out of bounds is the freshman Briscoe. Briscoe's got a great upside for Mangino and the Jayhawks. That is a Chiefs fan. You know, speaking of the Big 12 and the Chiefs, somebody who helped one of the great upsets I ever saw is when Texas beat the Nebraska team. Priest Holmes was a running back, and he had to retire again this week, and we wish him nothing but the best. He was one of the great running backs that we watched recently. Briscoe out of bounds on that far side. A reminder now to stay tuned for your late local news immediately following the game over most of these ABC stations, and over on ESPN, SportsCenter will have post-game analysis along with all the scores and highlights of the day. That SEC 4-overtime finish put Tennessee into the SEC title game. Reesing on the move, throws complete, dropping it off that time, Kirk, to the running back, McAndis.
I want to see, even in hurry-up mode, if we're going to see Todd Reesing continue to get up to the line and then wait till everybody's lined up and then look over for confirmation, because This is unfamiliar territory for this offense to be behind. Right now, they're more of a hurry-up mode.
Incomplete. We go back to the box. And one of the things to remember, Kirk, is what they said, that they want to take everything out of his hands. They call the plays and just clean things up so that he could operate. As you can see, he's looking over the sideline.
Yeah, he's looking to the sideline. Ed Warner, the offensive coordinator, up to the top left. He's the eyes in the sky. He's communicating down to the assistants of what play they want. And this is their normal base offense. There he is looking over. Warner up top, looking down and communicating what play that he wants.
What we just saw, let's see, Reesing, back throwing, Meyer reaches up and makes a great grab. Number 10 yanks it down against Justin Garrett.
Well, Ed Warner give him an assist from upstairs. He saw the matchup that he wanted. They want to take the game out of the quarterback's hands as far as thinking. They want to put the ball up in the air and find the former quarterback, Kerry Meyer, with the ability to make a catch over the top of the safety.
Remember now, Kansas has scored on its last 2 possessions. And breaking a tackle is Briscoe again, getting close to the 10-yard line. He's going to be a fine wide receiver.
It's going to be nice. Missouri bringing the blitz, the linebackers, the safety, Justin Garrett, Reesing backpedaling and finding his man Briscoe there just in time.
Trying to apply heat. Briscoe throws in zone. Touchdown! 3 consecutive scoring drives. This one to Dexton Fields.
The key there, Brent, is 1 minute and 27 seconds. A good return to set it up by Herford. All they had to do was go 57 yards, and they get on the board, and they get on the board in a hurry.
But now, can they stop Missouri?
Chase Daniel.
Tack on the extra point. Pulls them to within 10. They've got 8:28 to go. So Reesing trying to fire the Jayhawks back in it. But do they have enough time? We'll find out. Next Saturday, Championship Saturday on ABC. Starting at 1, Virginia Tech battles Boston College in the Dr. Pepper ACC Championship game. 4:30, UCLA battles Pete Carroll's USC Trojans. Trojans back in the hunt for the Rose Bowl. And at 8 Eastern, Oklahoma will take on the winner of this game. Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship game. Whole lot at stake next Saturday, folks. Right here on ABC. And now, look at the Missouri team creep up on this kickoff, expecting perhaps an onside kick here by the Manginos. But it's a pooch fielded at the 30-yard line by Macklin. And Macklin is swung down at about the 38-yard line, and now it's up to this defense of the Jayhawks.
Yeah, the only thing you think that Kansas could do tonight, right now at this point in the game, is to create turnovers, to get the ball back to Todd Reesing. The problem is the guys you're trying to slow down are having a great night. How about Chase Daniel? Talking about accuracy, 35 of 43. Kansas has done everything. They've brought pressure. They've dropped 7. They've dropped 8. He has sat in there and been a great leader. He's had some help, too, from some pretty good weapons.
So we've got McFadden, Tebow, and Daniel having
Missouri called timeout before the ball was kicked. That's their 3rd and final timeout of the half.
Now, that's unusual to use the last timeout there. I know they got a 10-point lead at 8:28, but... I don't think Coach is real happy about that either, is he? So we'll take a break and come back to Kansas City.
Here I stand.
You might not remember, but a few years ago, Gary Pinkel, as we take a look at the stats here on the 2 quarterbacks, Daniel and Reesing. And there is Pinkel now adjusting what he wants. He wants 2 men back deep.
Yeah, he's got 9 up close, expecting the onside kick with the hands team.
going to be fielded at the 20-yard line. And we'll see about Chase Daniel. I want to go back to Gary Pinkel. A lot of folks forget that a few years ago, sub 500 season over at Columbia with Missouri, he was under fire. And a lot of it surrounded his assistant coaches. They wanted him to fire the offensive coordinator, Dave Christensen, and Pinkel would have none of it. A lot of coaches give in to that kind of media pressure, and it usually leads that they hang on for 1 or 2 more years, and then they say bye-bye. Pinkel remained extremely loyal. The athletic department remained loyal to Pinkel, and now it is starting to pay off. And it says something about patience with football coaches, because we see a lot of big-time jobs starting to open up as Chase Daniels run out of bounds on that far sideline. But Pinkel and his staff have stayed together. They've worked together as a unit. They changed the offense. That's the one thing that they did do. They went to this wide open spread. Chase Daniel was critical, and it'll be interesting to see if they can continue it after he moves on.
But that is such a good point in today's day and age where fans and media expect a miracle within the first 2 years. 2 coaches tonight are examples of patience by the administration.
Yeah, exactly. Great. Daniel, sliding reception by Macklin.
Tell you what, Dave Christensen doing a pretty good job tonight as an offensive coordinator. And, of course, he has Chase Daniel. This team's up by 10 right now. Pressure coming in on Daniel. He throws that off of his back foot just with his arm, and he throws it right where Macklin can go down and make the catch right behind the linebacker, Mortensen.
There he is upstairs. Calling the plays up. Incomplete. Rucker, the intended target. And let's go back at him.
I just have really been impressed with Dave and the way he's been willing, as an offensive coordinator, been willing to adjust to things. They put this offense in when Brad Smith was going into his senior year. They were able to have some success with it. And then Chase Daniel's ability to throw the football took this offense to a different level.
Take a look down at the field, folks. They just spread it from sideline to sideline. And here's Macklin bringing him on the end around. So many of the wide receivers now, as there's a penalty flag on this one, but Kirk, as you know, so many of the wide receivers really are part-time running backs in this offense.
Holding, 82 on the offense. That's a 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
That's Rucker.
And I think that is the challenge for these offenses today, is finding the versatility from tight ends like Rucker and Kaufman, who have the ability to play tight end and receiver. Finding receivers that have the ability to run downfield and make catches, but they can be tough enough to come around and use the football in the backfield and be a threat in the backfield as well. It takes a lot of versatility, which means expertise in recruiting players that fit your system.
Now, big plays here for Kansas. They blitz Daniel into the hands of Macklin, and this is going to make it 3rd and long coming up here. 7:20, down by 10. Jayhawks want to get that ball back. They've scored touchdowns in each of their last 3 possessions, so they're hot right now if they get the ball back.
And they have scored fast. If you're a Kansas fan, this is a crucial 3rd down. You cannot allow Missouri to convert, because it's not only a conversion, it's a couple more minutes off the clock.
Missouri needs to get to the Jayhawks' 44-yard line on this play. Fake the handoff. Daniel over the middle. Got him. 1st and 10. And that is Alexander, who's made one big play after another tonight.
Brent, you're right on. Danario Alexander has just been unbelievable. 3rd and 14. The pressure gets that time to Daniel just a bit late. How about this guy's poise in the pocket and the accuracy of that football? Big time play by Chase Daniel.
So 16 more yards. Alexander, 117-yard night on his 8 catches. Huge night for Alexander. And now here's Temple, and the clock starts to run. Holt making the stop, and a career night for Danario Alexander.
6'5", 210 pounds out of Marlin, Texas.
Where's Marlin?
You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
I should have asked that, because I have no clue. I would guess it's down in the Houston area, but I'm just guessing.
You guessed? Just a gut feel.
Just a gut. I was cheating. Daniel pulls it down, coming hard over to the right. Complete to Macklin. And oh, that could have been a touchdown-saving tackle by Talib. Because if Macklin had gotten into space that time, it would have been turn out the lights, folks.
Boy, this is a heck of a highlight package tonight for Chase Daniel. He's done about everything. And again, I want to reiterate, this team has the lead. They're continuing to attack, and Chase Daniel finds ways to make plays happen. His coach calls it, he has the it factor. And when you hear a coach talk about that, it's the intangibles that make Chase Daniel special.
Oklahoma thinking about stopping it. And Temple bouncing back to the outside. He gets drilled over there by Thornton, who made a nice stop. He's a young man from St. Joseph, Missouri. We've mentioned a lot of kids, Kirk, from Texas on both these teams. It's amazing how many athletes around the Big 12 are from Texas. We'll see more down in Oklahoma.
Yep. Yeah, it reminds me so much when you cover teams in the South and you get to the Southeastern Conference. There's so many Florida players because Florida State and Florida and Miami can only capture so many of those great players. Texas, similar when it comes to creating so many players with such great skill.
Second and 15 now. Time ticking away on this drive. Here comes the blitz. Complete. He puts it back in the hands of Saunders. Saunders has been efficient. One of the other things that Daniel does, Kirk, he really spreads the ball around. We've had all kinds of receivers, and man, Gino wants that timeout called now.
That's what makes it so tough to lock in on Chase Daniel is because it's not like he's just going to throw it to Jeremy Macklin. He will spread it around, and we've seen him do that tonight, whether it's been Rucker, whether it's been his creativity and buying enough time. And when he scrambles, he is scrambling to be able to throw the football downfield. And the backs get involved. They spread you vertically. They spread you horizontally. 9 different receivers tonight have catches. Gives you an idea that when you get ready for these guys, I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's not just a couple of favorite targets. When you use 9, that's pretty good now.
You know, and we've had a chance this game to all this hype, all the talk about the winning team's going to move to #1. I wondered which of these quarterbacks and which of these teams would handle and play with poise. And Chase Daniel almost looks like he's out in a practice game tonight. You talk about poise.
Yeah, he was bred to be a big-time quarterback. But he came out of that high-powered Texas program. This time he's going to run it. And it stays in bounds. You can see the official signaling the clock is still running. Mortensen making the stop.
And you cover a lot of sports. And you know, if you're evaluating personnel, you have to go by production and what he is doing. So many times coaches get caught up in, is he 6'2"? Is he 6'4"? Is he 6'5"? In this kind of offense, that's irrelevant. You have to find players who make plays and bring them into your system regardless of how tall they are or how much they weigh.
There's a 43-yarder for Jeff Wolford. Three minutes and 30 seconds away from a rematch with Oklahoma. One victory away from playing for a national championship. Unbelievable. Well, a reminder now, stay tuned for your late local news immediately following the game over most of these ABC stations. And over on ESPN, well, SportsCenter will have post-game analysis along with all the scores and highlights of the day. The 4-overtime win by Tennessee against Kentucky. Of course, our showdown here, if you missed any of the highlights, Celtics red hot. Kevin Garnett has turned that franchise around. And again, it bears repeating. Missouri hangs on here, 3:30. And if they win, and it's a big if, Oklahoma will probably be a slight favorite down there in San Antonio. If Missouri can go in and win that game, they will play for the national championship. That much is clear. West Virginia with a big win over Connecticut. They have a game next week against arch rival Pittsburgh. And West Virginia, I would guess, would be a a big favorite in that matchup. Now, if you're a Buckeye fan, you're sitting there saying, Boomer Sooner, Boomer Sooner, because they knocked these guys off. Remember, Oklahoma slipped behind the Buckeyes. Then we got the Buckeyes in West Virginia. If I got this thing straight,
I'll give you a crazy scenario. What if Missouri loses to Oklahoma and somehow in the backyard brawl rivalry game, Pitt accidentally beats West Virginia? Ohio State and who?
Oh, we got a two-loss team.
Georgia at 10-2.
Well, now, wait a minute. Georgia gets to
Even though they're not.
How about LSU if they win, though? Would you take?
LSU lost.
You jumped off the LSU bandwagon.
Well, I mean, you lose like that. They've been flirting with you. You lose late. I would take Georgia over LSU right now.
What about Oklahoma?
Oklahoma? You know what? I personally think Georgia and Ohio State, if those two slip up. You know, off the record, I want to see Ohio State in Pasadena.
I know the tackle is shaking there.
Me and you up in the booth looking down on the field, USC and Ohio State. Are you kidding me?
And you know, Jim Trussell has never taken the Buckeyes out to Pasadena. He'd love to be out there. He wants to win a national championship after getting drilled last year, I'm sure.
Yeah, they just go to the Fiesta Bowl, the national title every year.
Exactly. That's why they don't get out there. How about USC back in the hunt for the Rose Bowl with Oregon without Dixon? And hasn't it been an unbelievable year for quarterbacks? You guys at Game Day should do the quarterback saga of the Pac-10, you know?
Yep.
I mean, it's been unfortunate.
How about Oregon today? They look like a different team without Dennis Dixon. They couldn't do anything to that. But it's all about Missouri and Oklahoma. Missouri wins. They're in the national championship against West Virginia.
Second down and 10, and Reesing. McAnderson, the running back, stopping the clock. Still 3 minutes to go here, and they're milking it again, coming right back down the field.
Here we are celebrating a Missouri victory. There's 3 minutes to go. Mark Mangino saying, fellas, we're not done yet. We score here, we cover an onside kick. Win this baby 35-34.
I love it. That's good, man. Reesing. He's in trouble now. He gets a good block. Downfield. Deflected. Incomplete. Kerry Meyer was the intended target. Justin Garrett.
I like what Reesing's trying to do here, and a lot of quarterback coaches are going to say don't throw back against your body back into the field of play because there's so many defenders that can make that play, and he was pretty fortunate that Moore didn't come down with that interception.
Here's your fourth down. Staying alive to the 25-yard line, young Reesing.
Gamer?
He is that.
Todd Reesing's a gamer. He's going to give you everything that he has. He's turned the football over tonight, but he's had a pretty good game throwing the football over 300 yards in that time. Everybody's covered. He takes it, gets downfield.
Deep, end zone, incomplete. And again, it's Garrett, number 8. Make a couple big plays here. Justin's from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, one who got away from those fellas down there at LSU.
Was actually going to go to Tennessee, but Missouri ended up having a chance to pick him up. And
he's big, man.
Boy, great size, and had to step in for Pig Brown with that injury. Garrett and Del Howard have done a pretty good job of manning that strong safety position.
Second down and 10. First down on Meyer. Meyer's at the 15-yard line.
Kerry Meyer has, for a young guy, last year starting quarterback, this year he gets beat out. He didn't go in the tank. He said, you know what, coach, this is the best move. It's going to give us a chance to win. I'm going to move out to receiver and try to help us out. And he keeps getting better as a wide receiver.
Incomplete. His second down.
Pass is incomplete, intended for Marcus Henry.
I like the fact that Todd Reesing, with only one timeout, under 2.5 minutes to go, he's now throwing the ball to get it downfield or to get it out of bounds. Clock is the enemy.
Regardless of what happens tonight, that man has done a terrific job with this football program. Mark Mangino, he worked for Bob Stoops down in Oklahoma. Work for Bill Snyder at Kansas State. 2nd and 10. Comes in underneath to McAnderson. And he battles for that first down and crosses the 5-yard line. So it'll be first down and goal coming up here with 2:17.
That was huge. That effort by McAnderson and getting across the first down line allowed Kansas to get up. The clock is stopped, gives them a chance to get the play called.
Touchdown. 4 straight. This time, Marcus Henry.
As a colleague of ours says, not so fast, my friend. Here they go, onside kick. Marcus Henry gets a chance to make a play, and by scrambling up into the defense, it brought the defense towards Reesing, and that's what allowed Henry to get free in the back of the end zone.
As another old dear departed friend also said, the Jayhawks are coming, tra-la, tra-la. The Jayhawks are coming, tra-la, tra-la.
Brett, you see when he stepped up, you saw the linebackers and the safeties have to respect the fact that Reesing could scramble, and there's nobody left in the back of the end zone. Puts it high in the air for Henry with the size at 6'4" to go up and make a catch.
How about those 2 earlier missed field goals? One off the right upright and pulling this one.
2 missed field goals early in this game and an interception. Missouri ended up making an interception at the 2-yard line when William Moore came up with a crucial play early in this game. But the story was blown opportunities in the first half for Kansas. They were trailing 14-0. They didn't have a point in the first half.
Well, the good hands people are out there.
This is it.
Yeah, here comes your onside kick now at 2:03.
You practice this every day. Every day in spring practice, summer camp, throughout the season for this kind of moment. Kicker's got a chance to be a hero right here. Put it in the air. Give your guys a chance.
To the 30-yard line at the left hash. Webb bounces it. It is fielded, and it is Missouri football with 2:03 to go. And that is Tommy Saunders, a wide receiver, one of the good hands, folks, who covered that up for the Tigers.
To tell you something, Tommy Saunders, to me, quietly has had a tremendous game for Missouri. We've talked about the abundance of skill players, but Saunders is one of those blue-collar guys that always seems to come up with a big play when Missouri needs it. Number 84 tonight in white. Great game.
The Jayhawks have 1 timeout remaining. And running, Tony Temple straight ahead.
This isn't the NFL. Play clock starts when all the players get up. Missouri will be taking their time. That's why Mark Mangino's yelling at the officials to get Missouri up. And let's see Chase Daniel, who's been in hurry-up mode for the entire game. Can he run 25 seconds off the play clock? Is that possible in this offense?
Daniel himself.
Gonna use it. Here's the last one.
First and 10, of course, would stop it, but it would be over if they could hang on to the football. So 1:15 left, and Gino stops it.
3rd down and 5. Minute 15 to go. Kansas cannot stop the clock. So the best case you're looking at, probably about 20. If you're Kansas, your best case would be to stop Missouri short. You can't stop the clock. There's probably maybe 20 seconds remaining. 15 to 20 seconds remaining. That is if you come up with a stop. Here on 3rd down. Going Chase Daniel. My man's winging it. He's going to throw the football. The way Missouri's been tonight.
Temple into the middle of that defense. Short.
Gotta get up. Gotta get up.
And here's your 4th down coming up.
See when they start this.
Pinkel having conferred with his coaches upstairs, and Daniel checking with him.
Of course, you're not going to attempt a field goal and just let this clock run down.
Looks like they're going to take 5.
Blake, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Lining up is talking about bringing the punter out, and there's always the risk of the snap. Kansas a little confused here. They had their first unit defense on the field. Nobody back deep
this time. One final shot. Down at the 9-yard line. Talib, the return man.
To think that this score was 28-7 heading into the 4th quarter, and to now think that the fact that Kansas, I know it's a long shot, the fact that they had worked themselves back to have the ball down by 6 points. Pretty amazing 4th quarter for the Jayhawks.
In trouble. There's a safety. 36-28. Now all Missouri fans are breathing just a little bit easier.
What striker Schulach off the edge. What speed he has played with this entire game. Number 38, the right defensive end. Just speed right by Collins. Comes in. Little assistance there from Lorenzo Williams. Chase Daniels feeling it. San Antonio, here we come. The Oklahoma Sooners.
We're going to get you on ABC.
And for the first time, Missouri is headed toward the Big 12 championship game. The Mizzou fans are feeling it, starting to chant, "We're number one." And it'll be a vote between West Virginia and Missouri. He took a knee, I believe. I think number 3 took a knee. That's what Pinkel's upset about. He fielded the ball and knelt down. See if he didn't take a knee on this.
Yeah.
See if he didn't kneel down.
Yeah, Marcus Woods on the return takes a knee. And
the Jayhawks still want that football. So this will be the last snap. Victory formation for Mizzou. The border belongs to the Tigers. Hello, Oklahoma. And for Mark Mangino and the Jayhawks, they'll now go back to Lawrence and await their destination. They'll be headed to a good bowl. Remember, they can still get one of those BCS at-large berths. Sitting there with a record of 11-1, the Kansas Jayhawks, with all these fans who traveled, they're going to be very attractive. And a team that is just one win away, and it'll be a tough game against Oklahoma. Missouri could wind up in New Orleans. Let's check in now with Lisa and the winning quarterback.
Chase, with 2 minutes left to go, you look up, it's 28-34. What were you thinking?
They wouldn't die. Kansas never died, and we played our hearts out so today, but we came out and win.
And you look very excited when that safety got put up on the board. What were you thinking then?
Hey, here we go, San Antonio. You know, it's the start of our journey right here. We got a cool couple weeks coming up, so we got to take care of business.
You told me earlier this week that you played some of the best games of your career in cold weather. What's your secret in this cold?
Just don't even think about it. It's just any other game. You know, it was good to come out here. You know, our teammates made plays, our defense made plays, and we finally won.
Now, Kirk and Brett made the point that you got the ball to 9 different receivers. What does that say to you?
We have 9 different receivers that can make plays, and we're all playmakers, and it's a good thing to have.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Bang the drum loudly. To the winner goes the spoils, and our players of the game, Chase Daniels, the outstanding quarterback. And folks, Desmond Briscoe is a rising star with the Jayhawks. That diving catch inside the 5 really ignited a Jayhawk rally here. But Chase Daniels was too much. So Missouri heads to San Antonio. Once again, they win the Big 12 North 36-28. Next week at 8 Eastern, the Dr. Pepper Big 12 Championship, Oklahoma and Missouri. For Lisa Salters, Kirk Herbstreit, and our entire ESPN gang, I'm Brett Musburger saying so long from Kansas City.